that one forward, finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks aside, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin!
I already mentioned that Emil Hemming back in the lineup, and that's a good thing for that top line. Already seen that Cole Bodwin, he's had a great start to the season, but when you get that kind of offensive threat, his team has a chance to take that next step.
Yeah, we talked here about the chemistry of the season. Start with a big time shot. He has face off. That's going to get settled like that. As well. As well, coming back from Texas, there's no doubt. Look, he wants to play pro hockey, and the goal for that now for him is to have a big finish here in Barrie, help this Barrie Colts team as much as he can in order to take that next step.
And it was also getting some valuable experience playing in the American Hockey League with the Texas Stars. I understand no points, but at the same time, it's such a valuable experience for him to be at that professional level, see what it takes, and then bring that here to the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, look, I mean, when you're around a pro league and, there's all sorts of things that you learn going to camp with Dallas. And, right there, you're talking to a lot of veterans that can help you on the way. And then you go back to Texas where there's some pretty good hockey players there. And, one by the name of Tristan Bertucci, another former Colt that is in Texas. But I think for Emil now, there's no doubt. Look, I mean, you want to play pro, you want to take that next step. So there's always a little bit of disappointment, but look, this is all part of the development game that you play. And the important thing is, okay, I want to get back there. What do I got to do? And to do that here in Barrie.
So the Barrie Colts getting ready to take on the Brantford Bulldogs here on the road. And while we have a moment, let's check in with our Coach's Corner with Dylan Smoskowitz. My conversation with him earlier, and the Coach's Corner brought to you by Mariposa School of Skating. All right, catching up with Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz, and last weekend ended on a bright note for you guys, snapping that 6-game losing streak against the Kitchener Rangers. How did that feel?
It felt good. Again, we of course, you want the results. You always want to get the 2 points. You want to get these points in the bank early on in the season, which we have not been doing a great job of. However, we've been pretty happy with our game of late, and it was just really nice, I felt, for our guys to finally get the results they deserved.
And for that game too, a Rangers team that's considered to be one of the tops in the Ontario Hockey League, it seemed as though the guys buying into the systems, obviously there's still a couple penalty, that's ended up in goals against, but still it looks like the team is taking positive steps there.
Definitely some positive steps, and it's good for our guys to know that no matter who we're playing against, we have a team to win these games. You know, whether it's a top team in the league or a team that's kind of hanging out around the bottom of the standings, we have teams to win, and we have players to win. I thought the PK was really good for us in the third period. 2 really big kills in a tie game there that got us the point in overtime that eventually Kobold went with the winner. Still something we're working on, something we put a lot of emphasis on this week as well, but it was a big step forward for us.
And also now finding out that Emil Hemming returning to the Barrie Colts lineup. What does he mean for this group as he brings that experience after being with the Texas Stars?
It's a big boost for our guys. Not only will it help us on the ice, but a lot of our guys, we're missing him in the room as well. He's just a great person. He's a good character kid. I was excited to see the excitement in his face as well. Sometimes you get these guys back from pro and it kind of seems like a demotion for them and they don't kind of want to be here. He came flying through the doors with a big smile on his face. I think the only guy happier than him that he was actually back was his buddy Gabe Eliason. It was nice to have a fellow Euro back, and then those guys are pretty good buddies as well. But again, all of our guys were happy to see him, all of our coaches were happy to see him, and we're looking forward to watching him play tonight.
And now you guys are playing a Brantford Bulldogs team that's still undefeated in regulation. So you've got that momentum from Kitchener, you got Hemming back. What do you expect from this game here tonight?
We take it one game at a time. The Kitchener game is what it is. I don't know if momentum's going to carry over, but again, we feel really good about our pre-scout. We feel really good about our process with our Monday and Tuesday practice, getting ready for this game. We've got a healthy roster. We got him back in the lineup now, kind of, some different line combinations. Of course, it's going to take some time for these guys to gel. It still is early on in the season, but we're really excited about the opportunity tonight to hand these guys their first loss. And
you mentioned the health, Calvin Crombie back and now playing against his former team. He must be pretty excited to be back here against these guys.
It's always exciting going back to a rink and then playing against a team where you kind of grew up and you have a lot of great memories here. I'm sure Cal does. I remember playing against the Barrie Colts when I was first traded from Barrie. It was a lot of nerves, a lot of anxiety, but also a lot of fun. Seeing some familiar faces, the coaches, the teammates, even people who work in and around the rink. So it'll be a special night for him. He's going to be a starter for us tonight, so I'm sure he'll kind of look around, take it all in on the blue line for the anthems, and then as soon as that puck drops, I know Cal's going to be ready to go.
There we go. So that was Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz, and for Dylan also talking about the return of Calvin Crombie to the Brantford to face against his former team, the Brantford Bulldogs, acquired there during the offseason, and he was mentioning how special it is when you do get that chance to play against your former team. And for Crombie, he's going to be on the starting lineup. He's going to be out there on the ice to get this game underway, and it's going to be pretty special for him, especially being a Hamilton boy, playing with the Bulldogs before they moved here to Brantford.
Yeah, I think it is, and you obviously you got ex-teammates and those teammates are friends and you're part of a franchise, for a few seasons and you really get to know the guys well. And I think this is special for him getting to go back here. But make no mistake, there's nothing more that he loved than to sneak out a win here, especially with this team undefeated during regulation time. So talking to Calvin before, he was really pumped about tonight, and I'm sure you'll see that out in the ice.
Well, Josh McCann also joined us here on the road trip to Brantford. He had a chance to also talk with Calvin before the game, so we'll have that interview coming up in the first intermission. But in the meantime, we're getting ready for the Colts and the Bulldogs. And for Barrie, it's a busier week. They got the road game here tonight in Brantford before returning home tomorrow to play the Sarnia Sting and then the Erie Otters on Saturday. So for the Colts, you want to get off to a hot start. Obviously, this is going to be a tough opponent. But you have to play this one basically one period at a time.
I think it's that simple. And, really the focus on a couple of things for Barrie today. Got to stay out of the box. This is a team with excellent specialty units. You don't want to play right into that. They'll be hungry right up to start. You want to stay out of the box first and foremost. And again, just play sound defensively. Make sure that your assignments, your roles are all taken. Play that back in your own first and then let things develop that way. But I think if they're able to kind of stay in this one and kind of sneak one out, that's the big thing. Don't get buried early.
And we saw that against the Kitchener Rangers as well, playing a high-flying Rangers squad. They had that lead, and it was one of those more consistent efforts that we really haven't seen much of this season from the Barrie Colts. And when this team can play 5-on-5, they've shown that they can play with the best of teams in this league.
Yeah, that's key. I mean, that's one thing. Even through this streak, they're pretty solid 5-on-5 team, and you're facing again this Brantford team. Their power play, one of the top power plays in the OHL. But for this Brantford team, again, we talked about coming in. You really need that consistency right from start to finish. I mean, this is a team that you give them a little bit of space, they're going to make you pay. And for Barrie, that's the important thing: is keep on top of them. Don't give them that time and space. And, keep it right from start to finish.
And this Bulldogs team has so many weapons up front. We see Jake O'Brien right now riding a 7-game point streak. You got Van Acker, who's one of the top goal scorers in the league. So for the Barrie Colts, defensively, they're going to have to step up here. And this is where the big three especially are going to have to use that size, use their presence and experience to really try and slow down this Bulldog squad.
Yeah, they're at their best when they're big and physical and, again, staying out of the box. But obviously that's the role they play. And this blue line, a little bit developed. You got a couple of youngsters in Edmonton and Fader who have played well back there. You got Justin Hansler back into the lineup tonight. So, the key thing is you got 6 guys back there. You're going to need all 3 units, with this, Brantford team. That's another thing. You need production out of all 4 units in the terms of just giving you solid minutes, solid shifts.
And Dylan Smoskowitz saying that it's a healthy lineup right now, which is great news. But there is a lineup change as Carter Lowe, a healthy scratch here this evening. For Carter Lowe, we were kind of on the drive down and talking about how maybe he could be that player playing with Beaudoin and Hemming. But it almost seems as, too, that maybe Smoskowitz trying to send a message that you need everybody on board here.
Well, it could be, and that's the thing. I mean, obviously, Carter Lowe is one of the players they really look to step up and, be a top 6 guy. And production-wise, too, they need goal scorers. They lost a lot of goal scorers from last season. And I think Carter Lowe will be that guy. He'll return. And, again, when he uses his size down low in front of the net, he's a force.
So we'll see what's in store here tonight between the Colts and the Bulldogs. Obviously, the time moved up to a 6 o'clock start instead of a 7 because of, who are they? Oh, yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays. How could we forget about that? So it's a different time. And I was talking to Dylan before the interview, and he was saying how much he prefers playing these 6 o'clock starts because for the guys, it's an hour less, but that's less time for them just sitting around at home. And it's a time that they can get their skates on and get this game going right away.
Well, certainly. And, again, I mean, for these guys, look, they're ready to go anytime. Yeah, they're get it. But a 6 o'clock start, I think it's great. The fans give a chance to watch the baseball game after, but there's some important hockey right here now.
So we're just about ready to go here between the Colts and the Bulldogs. Players right now coming on the ice. So we'll take a break. And once the national anthems wrap up, we will return with the broadcast as we're getting ready for the Barrie Colts and the Brantford Bulldogs. We are ready to go here at the TD Civic Center between the Barrie Colts and the Brantford Bulldogs. And while we have a moment, let's take a look at our starting goaltenders, which is presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities, New Homes Minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
Well, we'll start with the visiting Barrie Colts. Ben Rebick gets a start. A 6'1", 207-pound Milton native. He's making his 10th start of the season. 2.5, 0-2 record, 3.61 goals against average, 903 save percentage. His last start, that 4-3 overtime win over Kitchener last Saturday when he made 31 saves. At the other end, David Igorov makes the start. 6'2", 195-pound Ottawa native. He's making his 7th start of the season, 6-0-0-1 record, 2.17 goals against average, 928 save percentage. And of course, his last start that made 24 saves in a 3-1 win over Oshawa, that coming last Saturday.
Our referees tonight, Damian Figuera and Matt Manella, and on the lines, Owen Robertson and Scott Lawson, as we are ready to go here between the Colts and the Bulldogs. Brantford still undefeated in regulation in their first 13 games, and we'll see if the Barrie Colts can spoil the show as this one is underway. The Colts win the face-off. They're going to take this deep in their own zone. Aitchison sending it back behind his own net, picked up here by Gardner. Crombie sends that one across to Aitchison. Tayshaun Aitchison doesn't get that one too far. It's taken away at center ice. Bulldogs trying to send it in. Loose puck after it is Gardner. He's going to get this one out for the Colts and down the length of the ice. Crombie trying to beat out that icing call, but they're going to bring this face-off back.
Well, again, the Colts coming off that 4-3 win over Kitchener. And well, obviously it's a boost of confidence. Talking to Cole Bodwin after that win, and he just said, for the guys, it's that reward, the reward for some of the hard work. He says, look, he goes, we've been working hard in practice, working hard during games, and it's just nice to finally get rewarded. They're going to look to build on that here tonight.
So face-off coming to the left of Ben Rebick. Taking the draw here is Brad Gardner. He'll win this one back. Aitchison's there to collect it. Sends it ahead. That goes off Bodie Stewart, kept in here by the Bulldogs. O'Brien trying to settle that loose puck down. It's bouncing. Ends up back behind the Colts net. Aitchison forward to Stewart. That's deflected. Ends up going in the air. Stewart gets it again, and this time flips it down the ice. And that makes contact with a Bulldog player on the bench. So we'll get a whistle.
Again, Sam Black, Ethan Armstrong, McCormick, and Lowe. Right, get the start. Hands are back into the lineup, and it's Emil Hemming. But it's a combination giving the young forward Salandra an opportunity with that Cole Bodwin line and Emil Hemming. Boost for that for Salandra. Gets to play the 2 NHL first-round picks.
So Emil Hemming out on the ice for the first time for the 2025-26 season. Smoskowitz was saying beforehand that he's pretty excited to be back with the Barrie Colts, and we'll see what's in store here as the Bulldogs win the faceoff. That shot's blocked. Van Acker trying to get the shot to go, but again, it's blocked as Hemming will get this one out to center ice. Bodwin had the loose puck for a moment, but taking that away was Van Acker, and that's going to be deflected onto the Colts bench as it's a bit of a slow start to this one here in Brantford.
Well, just nice work there by Van Acker at center ice to kind of steal that puck, and it goes up into the benches. But then, a little bit of a feeling out process with Emil Hemming. There's familiarity there. Last year, he come to Canada, a whole new country, and whole new way. It took a little bit of time to adjust, but boy, was he a factor in the second half and in the playoffs.
Yeah, it really seemed like that World Juniors appearance with Finland kind of gave him that spark he needed. As the Colts get this one out, Joel Salandra hits the brakes inside the Bulldog zone. There's the shot. Igorov got a piece of it. Bulldogs moving this one ahead. It's Van Acker through the neutral zone, passing across, blocked by Bodwin. But they're going to call this an offside against Brantford as we get another whistle.
Cole Bodwin scored that overtime winner, and you talk about the chemistry in Aitchison. What a job just flipping out that puck to center ice. And I asked Cole, you didn't seem like you're really not going to lose that race for that loose puck at center ice, and he didn't. Found his man, and then got it past the goaltender for a big overtime winner.
And of course, that 6-game losing streak for the Barrie Colts is again puck deflected onto the bench. That's been the trend to start this game. We haven't had much action. It's been a lot of pucks just bouncing out of play here.
A lot of fans getting some pucks to bring home.
Well, it's Halloween on Friday, so we already have a lot of fans here dressed up. I see Gritty in the corner, which is pretty exciting stuff. Puck's deep in the Colts zone. Vader takes it away from Hrebeck. Bulldogs trying to set it in front, taken away by Desiderio. Amen Edgar. He'll send that one deep, far corner. Desiderio, first one on it. He'll send it around. Hands are off the point. Sends that to the corner. Desiderio tied up. Bulldogs, they'll pick this one up. Buckman will send that one to the line. Kept in by Hanser. Sent back behind the Brantford net. Igorov there to play it. Buckman losing the handle of it. Alex Asadorian from the corner. Stick handling in front, trying to find Schneid, but that got through him. Bulldogs get this one out to the neutral zone, picked up by Eliasson. Eliasson, backhand pass, finds Emerton. He's got some space through center. He'll carry it in. Emerton sending that one around. Ends up back behind the Brantford net. Govro there to play it, sends it on goal. That was deflected. And the Bulldogs will get this one out to center ice. Emerton back in his own zone. Now we've got a fight at center ice. Ryder Bolton and Luke Govro set to drop the mitts, but the linesman quickly separating those two, and the fans here, they're not too impressed the linesman separated them.
Well, you can see the two. I mean, they kind of backed up in the center ice and dropped the mitts and adjusted the helmets, and they're ready to go, but the official said no.
None of that.
None of that. Now you'll get a little bit of time to think it over in the box, and not too surprisingly, the fans not agreeing.
Well, Ryder Bolton, acquired from the London Knights in the offseason, he brings that grit, that sandpaper, and I know there's a lot of fans who, have been hard on Bolton on social media with his style, but Govro, a willing combatant, but the linesman not willing to let them go.
So part of the game, and how about Govro? I mean, it doesn't matter, he's willing to show up with anybody, and we saw in Sudbury just, the physicality that he brought. He dropped the mitts in that one as well. And just a guy, whatever role the team needs him to play, he's going to play. And that's why he's back into the lineup tonight.
So we're going to get some 4-on-4 here with the two players sent off for 2 minutes. So the faceoff's going to come to the right of Ben Hrebeck. So that's going to be a matchup to keep an eye on. Bolton and Govro as this one continues. And they'll be out of the box in 2 minutes' time. Face-off won by the Colts. Aitchison in the corner. He'll take his time. As there's some extra room out there on the ice, gives that up to Beaudoin. Beaudoin reaches center. We'll carry this one deep in front. Igorov got the blocker on as Hemming was going to the net. Puck sails all the way back into the Barrie Colts zone. Aitchison's there for Barrie. Comes out from behind the net. Aitchison picking up momentum ahead, finds Beaudoin. Beaudoin with some speed in front, trying to set up Hemming again, but that doesn't connect, and now the Bulldogs take it the other way. Here's O'Brien on the wing. O'Brien back to Van Acker, waits, fires. That's blocked by Beaudoin. That's done. Side of the net, and O'Brien fanned on it. Jake O'Brien had a wide open cage, but couldn't find the connection. Still 1:12 to go on this 4-on-4 situation as the Barrie Colts have it back in their own zone. Teague Vader now. He'll skate it up, passes the blue line. Vader's just going to skate this one in, trying to get a lane to the net. Vader's shot stopped by Igorov. Puck comes the near side. Crombie down low to Gardner. Gardner sends this one to the corner. Crombie gives chase. Protz can't get a stick on it. Crombie behind the net. Protz trying to hold up Crombie. Play continues. Bulldogs take possession. Juracek facing pressure from Gardner. Puck's in the corner. Protz receives the pass in front of his own net. Bulldogs skate this one ahead. Protz, that pass doesn't connect. And that's going to be an icing call against Brantford. And I think this is going to be a trend we're going to see quite a bit. Beaudoin trying to set up Hemming as he crashes the net.
Well, you got that 4-on-4 and lots of open ice, the big guns out there. And as it often happens in hockey, Mike, you got a chance at one end and you get it back the other way. And a great chance for Beaudoin trying to set up Hemming there at the other end. And then Van Acker with a puck in the slot. And that's blocked. So some open ice creates opportunity for both teams.
Colts have it back in their own zone as Emerton's going to skate this one ahead for Barrie. Reaches center ice. He'll peel back, facing some pressure there. Benak was the one who disrupted the pass, but the Bulldogs end up going offside with 15 seconds left in the 4-on-4.
Well, a pretty decent start to this one. And They're very not afraid to kind of go into the zone and a lot of the big guns early in this one. Both these teams bringing out their top lines.
Well, it's a bit of a statement game here for the Barrie Colts with Hemming back in the lineup. They want to show what they're capable of. And right now, scoreless as we're approaching the 5-minute mark of the first period. The penalized player's back on the ice. Puck rolls to the net. Egerov's going to play it. Sends it to the corner. Sam McHugh with possession. He'll send this one back as Bulldogs trying to regroup. Juracek and Protz both bump into each other. They'll set things up back behind their own net. Bulldogs move this one ahead. Gallagher reaches center. He's going to dump this one in. Back behind the net. Hrebeck out to play. Gives it up to Vader. Kanzer sends this one ahead. Crombie trying to get to the loose puck. Bulldogs keep it down low, and it rolls on net. And Hrebeck, he's going to hold on to that one.
Brenner Hrebeck making another start. No surprise here. The big guy, and with back-to-back games, you wonder if you're going to see Jaswell tomorrow, excuse me, and a busy week starting off early here for the Barrie Colts.
And of course, the Sarnia Sting played this morning. It was the school day game in Owen Sound. 7-3 final there at the Bayshore for the Attack.
I'm glad it's not a school day game here.
Well, we don't have a school day game until March in Brampton, but that can wait.
To go and get some earplugs.
Exactly. Bulldogs moving it along the boards on the far side. McHugh across. That pass deflected. Crombie got a stick on it. Crombie after loose puck. Moore will tie up his stick. Puck rolls to the corner. Crombie in front, but not able to get a stick on it. There was Gardner. Now the Bulldogs will take it back the other way. Here's McHugh. Enters the zone for Brantford. Takes a shot. Blocked by Emerton. On the near side. Buckman trying to get a stick on it. Eliasson will find it for the Colts. Up the middle. Crombie receives the pass, but they're going to call that offside. A late whistle, but we'll get the faceoff outside the Bulldogs' blue line.
Look at the standings. And obviously, the big expectations for the Brantford Bulldogs, but that's tough. I mean, a little bit of weight on your shoulders, but this is a team that's looking to contend, and you got to figure they're going to be busy at the deadline and leading up to it. But Barrie's still trying to figure out a team that figured that they could compete for those top 4 spots in the conference, and a bit of a slow start, but hoping to get going here.
Yeah, this is a Bulldogs team that was a heavy favorite coming into the regular season for the Eastern Conference. And so far, living up to those expectations, haven't lost in regulation. But the Colts wanting to spoil this one as they send it ahead. Malhotra receives the pass, avoids the hit from Eliasson, and then goes offside. Gabriel Eliasson almost got Caleb Malhotra in the trolley tracks.
I'm not sure Malhotra's still, looking back and wondering, oh, who was that? You're going to learn pretty quickly, Eliasson, you don't want to come over that blue line with your head down. And the big guy had some steam in that one. And fortunately for Malhotra, he's able to avoid that.
Well, Malhotra is having a pretty solid year for the Bulldogs. He was acquired last year from the Kingston Frontenacs, but because of the NCAA situation, didn't come over until this year. And in his rookie season, he's second in points with 18, as that's just another factor of this Bulldogs team with that lethal offense.
Well, a big addition, and one of the guys that's had he come into the league last year, just as a rookie, but decided to go to the school route. And of course, the big changes with the NCAA level that allows him to come back into the Ontario Hockey League, and the Bulldogs make the move for him and already paying dividends here early.
So we'll get this face-off momentarily. It's going to be outside the Barrie Colts blue line. As these two teams will resume play, we're still looking for our first goal of the hockey game. Shots right now favoring the Barrie Colts 3-1. We've seen a couple of opportunities for Emil Hemming already as it's his return back after being with the Texas Stars. As we'll get the draw, Malhotra wins it back. Bulldogs with possession. That's going to be sent around the boards. Hrebeck trying to get a stick on it. Malhotra across. That pass deflected. O'Donnell puts it in front. Eliasson gets the line, kept in by Engel. Bulldogs moving it around. Near side, Dennis. Cooper Dennis with a shot. That's deflected. Getting in the way of that was Cole Emerton. And as Cole Emerton continues to have some solid play in his rookie season.
Young defenseman, really, it speaks the amount of ice time that he's been getting, and as well, key points, killing penalties and, ahead by a goal, down by a goal, and it really speaks to the confidence that Dylan Moskowitz and his coaching staff have in the young defenseman. And well, the power play, running that as the quarterback there, and key player that is going to only get better as he gets this experience in.
So face off to the right of Horevic. Bodwin sends that one back behind his own net. Utah Mammoth prospect. He'll move this one forward. Bodwin reaching center ice. He's going to dump this one in. Far corner. Protz after it now for Brantford. He'll send that one around. Aitchison can't get a stick on it. Puck will escape the zone. Salandra sends it across to Hemming. Wasn't able to collect that pass cleanly. That pass deflected. Bodwin put it on net. Egrov had to get a piece of it. Puck comes back into the Barrie zone. Aitchison to pass more up the wing. Hemming trying to move it forward. He's stopped by Van Acker. Puck's bouncing at the Barrie blue line. Van Acker will dump this one in. Horevic slows it down behind the net. Aitchison first one on it for the Colts. Trying to keep that one away from Adam Vanak. Aitchison back behind his own net. Passing this one over to Emil Hemming. Hemming trying to chase after the loose puck. Vanak was behind the defense. Passmore, though, able to recover, sends it forward. Here's Salandra carrying it in for Barrie. Takes the shot. Igorov got a piece of it. Puck goes to the corner. O'Brien passing that one across as the Bulldogs try and regroup. Owen Protz deep in his own zone, takes it behind his own net. Both teams will make changes here as Protz has it behind his own net. 12:27 left to go in the first period. Still no score. Carrying this one forward is Tashurna. He's going to send it deep. Now we've got a fight at center ice. It's Bolton and Govro. You couldn't keep these two separated as they're going toe-to-toe at center ice. And then Govro took one from Bolton. Bolton trying to get that right free. Now it's Govro trying to go over top as these two combatants continue to battle it out at center ice. Bolton with that right free, trying to take down Govro. Govro from his knees gets right back up. And now the linesman will separate those two. As we saw it earlier in this first period, they wanted to go, but the linesman stepped in between them. But this time, they answered the bell.
Well, this time they let him go and go and go and go. And so again, Bolton, a pretty tough customer, known for this. And how about Luke Govro? Just not afraid one bit at all. Got in there and he got some shots in there as well. And both times able to kind of went down, but got back up, and pretty good showing by the young forward.
Yeah, very spirited tilt between those two.
That time they got right down to business to make sure that the linesman had no opportunity to jump in there.
Well, they both came off the bench at the exact same time and went right for one another, right between the benches. As it looks as though it should just be 5 minutes each for fighting. Nothing's been posted on the board, but when you've got a player like Ryder Bolton in your lineup, you feel as though you have to try and match that, and that's exactly what Luke Govro brings here for the Barrie Colts.
Well, he certainly did, and he's willing to answer the call and the bell. And look, it's not a tough thing. Obviously, Bolton, a ton of experience at that. And young Colts forward jumping right in.
So the officials right now having a word with the head coaches to explain the situation. Still nothing on the board, so it's going to be just 5 minutes each. And we'll get this face-off coming outside the Barrie Colts blue line. As Jay McKee having a lengthy conversation with the official. Almost wonder if maybe the officials are issuing a warning. But Colts are ready to take the draw. We're still waiting for the Bulldogs to send out their unit. So Alex Asadorian will take the faceoff here for the Barrie Colts. Lining up against him here is Lane Gallagher. Faceoff won by Brantford. Buckman will send that one back. Moore with possession goes across to Buckman. Moore gets it again from his own blue line. Reaches center. He's going to dump it in. Around the boards it goes. McHugh trying to get to it at the point. Buckman takes the shot. Deflected. That goes wide. Side of the net. Testa couldn't put that one in front. Schneid takes it away for the Colts. He'll send it down ice. Asadorian gives chase. Can't get there in time. Taking it away is Buckman. Puck's in the corner. Colts trying to send it out to the point. But that's taken away by McHugh. McHugh through the neutral zone. Hits the brakes. Passing it back. Buckman takes the shot. Stopped by Horevic. He's able to cover it up. as the Bulldogs taking it end to end, but the Colts goaltender stays on top of it.
Well, nice job by Hrebeck to bring that one under control. Testa right on the doorstep there and looking for that loose puck, but Hrebeck, quick reaction after taking that one, and he shares to get the glove hand and the blocker on it.
So 11:43 remaining now in this first period. Face-off coming to the right of Ben Hrebeck. Shots right now favoring Barrie 4-2. Gardner will step in to take this draw against Malhotra. Malhotra sends this one back to Tashurna. At the point, Engel takes the shot. Hrebeck got a blocker on it. Puck will sail to the far side, picked up by Hanser. Stewart trying to send it forward. Crombie knocks that one to the corner. He's going to chase after it. Calvin Crombie, the former Bulldog, from the corner, sends it back, but that's picked off. Good stick there by Dylan Tashurna. Bulldogs moving up. Tashurna to Malhotra up the middle, and that one goes wide of the net. That nearly hit the post. Colts moving up, however. Bodie Stewart carrying it in. He's got Gardner going to net. Pass across, and he puts it over the goal. Stewart gets it in the corner for the Colts. Crombie there to help him out. Puck comes back towards the point, picked up here by O'Donnell. O'Donnell skates it up for Brantford. Bulldogs make a change. O'Donnell takes the shot. His stick snaps in half. Puck goes to the corner. Colts picking up. Here's Calvin Crombie at center ice for Barrie. Enters the attacking zone, stays with it. Ahead for Passmore. Passmore backhand scores! Evan Passmore tucks that one around Egorov. Looked like a goal scorer's goal. And it's now 1-0 Barrie.
Evan Passmore getting out the moves on that one. The big defenseman pitches in from the blue line and races in and then walks around the goaltender and the backhand slides it in. But a great setup and a great finish. Watch Passmore just get in behind the defense and then just walks, cuts across the crease to move to the backhand. And the New York Rangers prospect has Barrie on top.
Where was that all season?
What a move.
So Calvin Crombie with a great setup at Evan Passmore, and he just tucks it around Egorov, and it's 1-0 Colts. Brantford looking to respond as Bannock has it along the boards. He's taken out there by Baudouin. Hemming gets to the line. Not out. O'Brien up the middle on his backhand. Can't get the shot to go. Puts it in front. Knocked away by Salandra. Colts get it to the line. Protz takes the shot. Blocked by Hemming. Puck's loose. Ends up in the corner. Van Acker, he's taken out by Aitchison. Fans want a penalty, none coming. In front, one-timer, and that's blocked by Baudouin. Van Acker back on his skates, sends that one forward. Here's Bannock to the net. Hrebeck's got the loose puck under his pad. Didn't see it there for a moment, as it's a quick response from the Brantford Bulldogs, but the Colts weathering the storm.
This Bulldogs team pushing right back after giving up that goal. That's a couple of times, 2 or 3 times tonight, Mike. We've seen one good chance at one end, come right back to the other end. And this Bulldogs, when they get you down in your own zone and move that puck around, the Colts got to be careful. You don't let that man in the slot open. The Bulldogs had a couple of really good looks. Leonard Hrebeck has been sharp here early.
So it's 1-0 for the Barrie Colts. Evan Passmore, the goal scorer, with his first of the season. And that was the highlight reel goal from Evan Passmore. So we'll get the faceoff now to the left of Hrebeck, won by the Bulldogs. Protz has it at the point. Owen Protz sends this one deep around the Colts net. It goes to Tashurna, puts it in front. No one there for Brantford. Desiderio sends it up. Edgar chasing after the loose puck. Eman Edgar gets that one in the corner. Puck goes off the official. Bulldogs trying to move it. Puck comes to the near side. Brantford with possession. That's Protz. Sends it up to O'Donnell. Blocked there by Emerton. O'Donnell with the follow-through gets it back behind the Barrie net. Eliasson being chased from behind the goal. Colts can't get it out. Tashurna along the boards. Malhotra sent it back behind the Barrie net. Eliasson was there for the Colts. Sends that one to Desiderio. He'll get it to the line. Not out. Kept in there by Juracek. That shot deflected, and it's going to go into the netting and out of play with 9:22 still to play here in the first period.
Well, things really starting to pick up in this one. The intensity. Ben Hrebeck's been sharp here early on. Bulldogs do a good job of getting men to the front of the net and ability to get that man open in the slot area as well. Something Barrie's going to have to watch. Bulldogs, good puck movement in the zone. They could always kind of spread and find a man out open. In the
Yep.
open.
And we've seen it all season with the 5-on-5 situation. The Barrie Colts, they can skate with the best of them, and we're seeing it so far here tonight, outshooting Brantford 5-2. As they send this one down the ice, Schneid gets the loose puck. Schneid back to Bodwin. Back up by him at the point. Hanser, his shot's blocked in front. Testa comes up with it for the Bulldogs. At center, Van Acker has that knocked away from him. Hanser takes him into the boards. Vader deep in his own zone, being pressured there by Testa. Vader up the wing. Hanser trying to get by Gallagher. Gallagher has it in his skates. Hanser continues to battle with Testa. Now the puck sent out to center ice. Bulldogs with possession. Lucas Moore, he'll send that one around. Revick slows it down. Vader after the loose puck. Far point inside the Colt zone. Van Acker trying to kick that one back. Taken away by the Colts. Cole Bodwin has it at center. He's just going to dump this one in. Igorov decides to stay in his own net. Back to pick it up is Buckman. Buckman, though, loses it to Newton. Here's Crombie. Drops it back to Gardner. Stopped by Igorov. My, oh my, what a setup by Calvin Crombie. Do you think he's excited to play against his former team?
Well, an opportunity already with an assist here tonight. But how about Jaden Newton going into the corner, steals the puck, bumps his man, takes it off there, and creates a great opportunity in front. Eventually to Calvin Crombie, but Colts with some great action up front. I mean, they're making things happen. Like you said, Mike, they're moving their feet in this one, and it's creating opportunities.
Face off won by the Colts. Passmore at the point. Takes the shot. Stopped by Igorov. Puck's loose in front. Not able to get there in time with Crombie. Aitchison keeps it in, though. That's taken away by O'Brien. Bulldogs move it up. Van Acker enters the attacking zone. Drops it back to Banak. Banak takes the shot. Blocked by Passmore. Dravacek. He has it in the corner. Trying to send it back. Takes a bounce off the boards. Passmore ahead for Stewart. Stewart through the neutral zone. Enters the attacking zone for Barrie. That pass, though, taken away by Banak. Banak facing pressure. He'll pass that one across. Bulldogs quickly ahead. Van Acker up to O'Brien. Drops it back. Van Acker gets it again. High slot. Up to Engel. Engel from the sideboards. Down low to O'Brien. Engel at the line. Just keeps that one in. There's the shot. Revick didn't see it. Loose puck. O'Brien fanned on it. And the Colts get it out. Hemming chasing after it. Hemming drops it back, but not able to connect. Loose puck picked up by Salandra. To that. In front. Hemming shot scores. Emil Hemming, welcome back to Barrie. He has made it 2-0.
Well, that's a way to make a return for Emil Hemming, and what a setup by Salandra. All of a sudden, the Colts realize, hey, they got the puck right in front of the net. And this great patience by Salandra going to get around the defender here, and look at him, just really no shot from the side of the net, sets up Hemming, and he makes no mistake in front. And the Barrie Colts out to a 2-0 lead early.
What a start tonight for the Barrie Colts. Out shooting Brantford 6-3, and they have a 2-0 advantage. Goals from Evan Passmore and Emil Hemming. Face off won by the Bulldogs. That'll come back to their blue line. Hemming, though, putting on pressure. Bulldogs moving across quickly. McHugh chips that one ahead. Malhotra losing it. Cole Bodwin back to pick it up for the Colts. Emerton from the corner. He'll put that one off the glass. Salandra over to Hemming. Receives the pass at center ice. Hemming enters the zone. Takes the shot. That's going to go wide in the net. Malhotra passing that one forward in the neutral zone. O'Donnell. O'Donnell enters the zone across to McHugh. McHugh couldn't hold on to that. Gets it again in the corner. Bulldogs trying to move this one around. McHugh gets it again. We'll come back to the half boards. Backhand pass to the point. Here a check. Down low. Quick shot off the post. Rebound. Loose puck. Horevic can't cover it. Protz gets it at the point. Takes the shot. Stopped by Horevic. Oh my goodness. The chances for Brantford, but Horevic standing tall. Now the Colts in the attacking zone. Hemming sends it down low to Hanser. Back behind the Brantford net is Edgar. Side of the goal. Asadorian couldn't get a stick on it. Juracek sends it forward. Bulldogs move it up. McHugh. His pass deflected as Hanser got a stick on it, but it goes on the bench. But what a different look it is here tonight for this Barrie Colts team.
You know, a good start for this Brantford team. You know they're going to push back. And, you know, Revick, sometimes you need help from your friends and a little bit of iron there. That one rings off the post. And he's been sharp here early and getting some help on that one. But You know, this Brantford team down 2-0, they're going to push back, and we're seeing that here.
Well, shots now 7-6 in favor of the Colts after that barrage of chances from Brantford. As Buckman comes back to play it, Egorov coming out of his net to play it, long pass. Colts are making a line change. Kayshawn Aitchison in his own, over to Vader. Teague Vader sends that one forward. Desiderio in the neutral zone. Gallagher putting on the pressure, takes it away, but Aitchison was there. Near side now. Eamon Edgar sends that one forward. Moore able to collect it in front of his own net. He'll peel back. Lucas Moore ahead. Testa receives the pass at center ice, enters the zone for Brantford. Loose puck up the middle, but that's taken away from Tashurna. Now the Colts trying to go back the other way. Desiderio at center. Testa, though, took that one away with the stick check. Bulldogs with possession. Angle. He's just going to skate this back behind his own net. Gives that one up to Lucas Moore. As we're approaching the 15-minute mark of this first period, 2-0 for the Barrie Colts. As Brantford sends this one deep. Van Acker gets a stick on it in the corner. Picked up there by Vanek. At the point, Angle can't keep that one in. Schneid puts on the pressure, but Bulldogs get it right back into the Barrie zone. Emerton over to Eliasson. Flips that one forward. Govro back on the ice for the Colts. Govro can't hold on to that. Vanek sends that one forward to Van Acker. Van Acker on the wing, trying to cut to the middle. The puck got away from him. Van Acker gets it again for the Bulldogs. Sends it back. Gravacek takes the shot. That was blocked by Eliasson. Puck's in the corner. Back to Angle. Angle to Dravik. Over their cross. There's a one-timer by Vanek, but Harevic gets across to make the save. As Brantford really starting to pour it on here, but great goaltending right now from Ben Harevic and the defense in front of him.
Harevic's had to be sharp, and this Bulldogs team, you know, they're going to ramp it up, down 2-0 early, and they've had some great chances. Dan Harevic just, you know, really calm back there, and not a lot of movement, stability to kind of stay back. And got a nice little video tribute here to Calvin Crombie up on the scoreboard here during this timeout. It's nice to see having some fun with his former teammates and some of his big goals and big plays. And always love to see that when your player goes back and team pays tribute to their former teammate.
Well, he was such a fan favorite here with this Bulldogs organization, and you're seeing the appreciation right now from the Civic Center faithful, as Crombie giving a salute to the crowd here in appreciation. I'm sure he's pretty excited to be here, but those nerves must have been creeping in a little bit as they approach the arena this afternoon.
Sir, you know, I was talking to him, you know, last week, and there's no doubt he had Brantford on the mind, and you know, it's special going back, and it's really nice to see, you know, obviously the tribute, but got a nice ovation here for the fans. It really speaks to, you know, the type of player he was in Brantford here, you know, as a guy that made an impact, and it's nice to see them pay tribute.
Well, Josh McCann pregame was able to catch up with Calvin Crombie. I know it took him a bit to locate Crombie, as he wanted to say hello to quite a few people here at the Civic Center, but we'll play that interview for you coming up in the first intermission. Puck's deep in the Colt zone as McHugh trying to dig it free along the boards. Beaudoin's there as well. Passmore tying up his man. Officials wanting them to move the puck. The fans thinking there should be a penalty here. Puck continues to be along the boards. Now Beaudoin knocks it free. Bulldogs with possession. Back to the line. Protz receives the pass. One-timer Malhotra, and he fires that one over the net. Juracek, far side. That's knocked away from him. Good work there by Salandra. Puck goes back into the Brantford zone. Juracek. Passing that one ahead. Testa got a stick on it. Blocked by Vader. Vader gets it back to the Brantford blue line. Salandra there to pick the pocket of the defenseman. Puck goes behind the Brantford net. Salandra had it for a moment. Juracek up to Testa. Luca Testa. Passing that to the near side as the Bulldogs trying to regroup, but Gardner there on the forecheck, not making things easy for Brantford. Now it's Crombie putting on the pressure. Bulldogs send it ahead. O'Brien receives the pass at his own blue line through center. O'Brien to Van Acker. Van Acker trying to go back ahead to O'Brien. Van Acker takes the hit from Crombie. Puck goes around the boards. Vader gets that one ahead. That's going to go down the length of the ice. Not enough for icing. Engel has to play it. Engel back behind his own net. Facing pressure there from Gardner again. Colts really not giving Brantford much time to work with that puck. They send it down the ice. Icing waved off. Emerson plays it. Lost sight of it for a moment there at the side of the net. He'll get this one out to center. Kicked by Angle. Gardner picks it up for Barrie. Over to Stewart. Bodie Stewart goes to the corner. He'll pass this one back to the point. Emerson can't keep it in. That puck's going to go back into the Barrie zone. Van Acker gives chase. Takes it from Elias into the net. Nice move. Stopped by Hrebeck. He jams at it. And then Eliason runs over Van Acker on top of his own goaltender. A bit of a dangerous play. And now Hrebeck showing his emotions as he gave a bit of a shot there to Marek Van Acker.
Well, before all that, Hrebeck made an outstanding pad save. Van Acker had about 3 different directions on that deep, going back, forward, and he's going to eventually try to pull it back to his forehand. But watch Hrebeck gets out the right pad. The big stop, and then big Eliason following through, knocks over Van Acker on top of the goaltender, and the fans reacting to that one. But Van Acker is going to steal the puck off Eliason and tries to deep to the forehand, but Hrebeck with that big right pad getting it out. What a big time stop.
Well, the fans reacting to the replay as they show Gabriel Eliason's check on Van Acker onto Ben Hrebeck, but there is one penalty as there's a Brantford Bulldog in the box along with Gabriel Eliason. So wait and see if it's going to be a power play for Brantford or if they're going to make this 4-on-4. As Jagaria still settling things here, talking with Kayshawn Aitchison, but right now it looks like it may be a Bulldogs power play.
It didn't look like there was an initial call on that one, and fans certainly reacted to the Eliason hit on Van Acker. Right now, it looks like, yeah, we do got a Bulldogs power play.
So the Brantford Bulldogs, they have the best power play in the Ontario Hockey League right now, operating at 34%, while the penalty kill has had its struggles for the Barrie Colts right now, 20th overall at 66.7%. So a big opportunity for Brantford to get on the board as they win the faceoff. Puck moved quickly back to Vanek at the point. Vanek gives that up to O'Brien, takes the shot, stopped by Hrebeck, big rebound. Juracek after it, skates into the boards, sends it down to Van Acker, across, breaking his stick is O'Brien, as he couldn't take that one-timer, he's got to get a new twig. Vanek taking it to the corner, he's tied up, Passmore pokes that one away, Baudouin trying to get it out, picked up here by the Bulldogs. O'Brien, near side, passes across, Passmore takes that one away. Vanek on the far side, fanned on the first pass attempt, Baudouin trying to steal it, he will. Battle continues along the far board. Power play down to a minute 14. Van Acker comes up with it for Brantford. Back to the line. Juracek trying to go back to Van Acker. Puck's in the corner. Down low. Malhotra behind the net for Brantford. Goes to O'Brien. O'Brien, his pass blocked by Baudouin. Colts can't get it out. Hemming got it to the line, but Juracek kept it in. O'Brien waits. Down low. Van Acker takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. As Marek Van Acker kind of hesitated, and Hrebeck able to make the save.
Just great pressure by Brantford, and I think it's a couple of times O'Brien's had a broken stick. The Bulldogs again moving that puck around. They get it down to Van Acker down low, and he's trying to find a place in between the pads of Hrebeck, but there's such space available, and big Barrie goaltender. Well, 51 seconds still remaining on the Eliason penalty.
Well, since Barrie made it 2-0, Brantford has really poured on the shots, now leading 11-7. As the puck comes to the point, kept in by Angle. Bulldogs moving across. There's a shot deflected, and that's going to go out of play. Firing that one was Dravetsky.
Well, nice job by Bodie Stewart getting the stick in the way. And how about Ben Hrebeck? I mean, you know you're going to need your big veteran goaltender to come up with some big saves. We've done exactly that. But this Brantford power play is something to watch. Just their ability to gain the zone and just keep you hemmed in there and move that puck around.
Well, the puck movement, especially how fast they move it. As Hrebeck's had to stand tall so far. Power play now down to 42 seconds. As we're going to do this face-off again to the left of Hrebeck. Gardner set to take the draw against Sam McHugh. Face-off won by the Colts. Emerton sends this one around at the point. Drevetsky can't keep it in. Stewart sending that one in the zone. Drevetsky's there to collect it for Brantford. He's going to go back behind his own net. Drevetsky ahead to McHugh. Sam McHugh skates this one in for Brantford. Cuts the middle. O'Donnell had that one out of his reach. Puck's behind the Barrie net. Bulldogs moving this one around. At the point, Drevetsky sets up McHugh. McHugh takes the shot, deflected as Hanser got a stick in the lane. And we're seeing a lot of that with the Barrie Colts, just getting those sticks out and disrupting those chances.
Well, again, it's important, those block shots and getting sticks in the lane, just the little things make a difference and they add up. And these Bulldogs power play, Barrie just hasn't been able to get it out of their end. And again, like I said, that quick puck movement, the ability to kind of hem a team in there.
11 seconds left in the penalty to Gabriel Eliasson. Face-off won by the Colts. Aitchison back behind his own net. Aitchison sends that one off the glass and down the ice as Eliasson ready to come out of the penalty box. Bulldogs come out from behind their own net. Moving that one forward is Drevetsky. Drevetsky carrying this one in. Takes the shot, stopped by Hrebeck. Rebound. Holmes can't get to it in time. Puck's in the corner. Holmes sends this one around as the power play is coming to an end. Drevetsky back for Brantford in his own zone. 18 seconds left here in the first period. Barrie up 2-0. As Drevetsky just letting the clock run. 10 seconds left in the period. Now we've got another scrap at the Barrie Colts blue line. Tayshaun Aitchison and Ryder Bolton. Aitchison trying to hold on as Bolton has that right free. Aitchison losing his balance, trying to get that right to go. Bolton still going with that right. As Aitchison holding on. As those two will be separated. Tayshaun Aitchison not afraid to stand up to it as he's stirring the pot. And those two will go off, but now you've seen Bolton drop the mitts twice here tonight.
Well, no stranger to Bolton game and pretty active in this first period. Tayshaun Aitchison said, all right, let's go. And Bolton gets some good shots early. You don't see Aitchison kind of on the defense much in his fights, but the battle back there at the end.
Well, it was behind the play too, because Drevetsky was just letting the clock run out. He was back in front of his own net. Nobody was doing anything, but then Bolton goes after Tayshaun Aitchison at the Colts blue line, and Tayshaun a willing combatant.
Kind of like, hey, nothing else has happened. Let's get something going. In the first period this has been, it's had a lot of things here. Fights, and big hits, and big goals. And that Colts penalty kill comes through here in this first period.
Well, the OHL saying it quite right on the chat. An exciting night at the Madhouse. And that's exactly what it is here at the Madhouse in Brantford. Face off to the left of it. Igorov, there's a quick shot. Igorov the save. Vader trying to get a stick on it. Vanek sends it back to Juracek. Juracek takes the hit, and that will do it for the first period. What an exciting opening frame here between the Colts and the Bulldogs. And a little on the surprising side, too, with how this game has come about so far. But my, oh my, we've had 2 goals for the Barrie Colts and a couple of scraps, almost 3 as at the beginning of the first period, Bolton and Covero wanted to go toe-to-toe at center ice, but the linesman got between them. And yeah, a little bit of everything so far here in this hockey game.
Well, certainly. And, when you look at it, for Barrie coming into this one, we want to get through the first period, but they did better than that, a lot better than that. And, this Brantford team, they could push. We've seen them in the Colts zone, but the Colts get 2 big goals. Salantra, I thought, was outstanding in that first period. A couple assists for him. Passmore gets a nice goal on a great move. And then Emil Hemming, welcome back. And, a pretty good start for Barrie. Hrebeck made some big-time stops. And almost as important, Mike, they kill off Brantford power play, and we know how good this Bulldogs power play has been all season, and just how much the Colts have struggled on the penalty kill.
Well, that's just it. Last weekend against Sudbury and Kitchener, they gave up 5 power play goals against combined, 3 up in Sudbury and then 2 against Kitchener. And, this is a lethal Bulldogs power play unit. And they were getting sticks in the lane. And Ben Hrebeck, what can you say about his performance here tonight?
Oh, he's been outstanding, and just some couple of huge stops already, and he's been busy. Usually goalies like it that way, but and again, you talk about the penalty kill, Emil Hemming, right out there for both penalty kills, and again, you get a veteran like that, a guy that is able to help you kill penalties, makes a huge difference.
So it's the first intermission here at the TD Civic Center in Brantford. And we do have the chat. It's active, so if you want to get on over there, and if you have any questions or comments in regards to the Barrie Colts or the rest of the Ontario Hockey League, you can leave a comment over there. But in the meantime, Josh McCann, yes, he came on the road as well. He had a chance to catch up with Calvin Crombie, the former Brantford Bulldog pregame. So we'll catch up with his conversation with the Colts forward.
All right, we'll join by Colts forward Calvin Crombie. Calvin, it's your first time back here in Brantford. What are kind of the emotions going into this after playing a few seasons here?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely weird. I mean, coming back and being on the visitor side is definitely, a weird atmosphere, to come in and sit in a different stall that you don't usually sit in when you're here on the home side. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of nerves coming back into the town of Brantford, but no, I think it's going to be a good time.
Now your line is starting the first shift tonight. Is that going to help you get away with the jitters pretty quickly?
Yeah, for sure. I always enjoyed starting. I think I started a lot for Brantford here, and just get off to a hot start and get the lead, and just go from there.
You were out Saturday with an injury. Was there any way you would miss tonight's game?
No, that wasn't a choice in my mind. I was playing no matter what today. I mean, I don't care if it was a broken leg. I was playing. And that's just one of the things that makes me who I am. And tonight was a game that was really special. It was marked on my calendar for a long time since I got traded. So, tonight means a lot to me. So, no, there was no chance I wasn't playing.
Now, being in the two organizations, both Barrie and Brantford, are there any big differences between the two organizations?
No, there's not really any big differences. Both coaching staffs are great. All the trainers, everyone, the guys, everyone's great on both sides. I have no complaints at all on either sides. The coaches are phenomenal. Give lots of credit to Jay McKee, and I give lots of credit to Dylan. Both two phenomenal coaches.
Is there anyone on Brantford here tonight you're really looking forward to playing against?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, one of my best friends, Dylan Tashurna, we've been super close for a while ever since I've been here. So, I'm looking forward to playing against him and a bunch of the other guys too that I was super close with. I mean, I know a bunch of guys have changed since I was here, but I'm looking forward to playing against all my old former teammates.
Now, you mentioned last week to Gene Pereira about how strong you guys are 5-on-5. Does it really feel like if you get discipline underway and penalty kill back going that you guys could be one of the best teams in the OHL?
For sure. I mean, getting Hemming back, that's a huge addition. I mean, we're only going up from here. I mean, obviously we got off to a rough start, and that's not something you want to do, but the only thing you can do is look forward, and every day's a new day. 5-on-5, I think we are one of the best teams in this league. We compete with every team 5-on-5, no problem. We stay out of the box and we fix that, and it's a different game.
You mentioned Emil Hemming coming back. You got 3 games this week. You're coming off a win against Kitchener. Does this feel like a big week to get things going?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely a big week to get things going. I mean, you have Brantford tonight, and that's definitely a big tone setter to start the weekend. Sarnia and then Erie, and, those are 2 games we definitely need as well.
Well, Calvin, thanks for doing this. Good luck tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So that was Josh McCann catching up with Calvin Crombie pregame. And like I said during the broadcast, it took Josh a while waiting for Calvin to come around, because here at the Civic Center, Crombie, I think, was making laps just to see all his old billets, see all his former teammates, and just to catch up with everybody. So for Crombie, pretty excited for this opportunity to play against his former team, and a nice touch, too, for Dylan Smoskowitz to put him there on the starting lineup.
Yeah, I think certainly, you look at it, and, for him, no surprise. He had a lot of people to visit before the game, and, it's always a special night, nice little tribute there, and, gets the interview on the TV broadcast, nice returning home. So I think for Calvin, like I said, when I talked to him last week, I said, "You're looking forward to Brantford?" He goes, "Oh, yeah."
No doubt.
No doubt. And, I wasn't going to miss this one for the world. And it's just great to see that the fans appreciate everything he brought over the last couple of seasons in Brantford.
And that's what's tough too with junior hockey, with the limit of 3 overagers, and it's tough to move on with some players who've been with the organization since their draft year, like Crombie. And he's from Hamilton. He was drafted by the Hamilton Bulldogs, so this is kind of a special place for him. And it's too bad he wasn't able to play this year with the Bulldogs, but Barrie Colt fans get the benefit.
Well, hey, Barrie will certainly be happy to pick up a player like that. Again, brings grit and, able to take a bigger role here in Barrie. I mean, that's the difference, obviously. The Bulldogs had some tough decisions to make, and, Barrie picks the benefit. Talking to Marty Williamson, he said, hey, we were more than happy when he became available, and we just thought, that leadership, that experience with Brantford, and the guy, again, like I said, that isn't afraid to go in the corners in front of the net and is able to put the puck in the net, and they expected more offense from him.
And we were kind of surprised at the start of the regular season with his offensive capabilities, because we didn't really see too much of that when he was with the Brantford Bulldogs. He comes to Barrie, he's got 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. And it's a part of the game that, he's having a chance to flourish a little bit here with the Colts.
Yeah, he's playing top 6, and, the top 2 lines. He's playing with some veterans. He's playing with, some better so-called, line mates in terms of, offensive creativity and, the ability. And look, he's making the most of it. He had a lot of chances early on. He could have, his numbers even could have been better than they already are. But, the Colts certainly looking for big things from the veteran.
So it is the first intermission here at the TD Civic Center. The Barrie Colts up 2-0 on the Brantford Bulldogs. Probably one of the best periods so far this season that we've seen from the Barrie Colts. And the penalty kill also coming up big. So that's where we stand here at the first intermission. We do have the chat open. So if you want to join in the conversation, have any comments or anything, you can put that there in the chat right now. And just looking back, we see Paul saying that he hopes that Hemming will be a boost for the team and get us in the playoffs. And if that first period's any indication, I think Hemming is ready to play.
Yeah, already out there on the penalty kill, and you see him contributing on offense already with the goal. And look, I mean, he's a big time player. You're able to add an experienced player like that, and you really saw in that second half what he can bring. But for this team especially on the penalty kill, you saw him and Bowden out there. That's a pretty good pair up front to have out there. He's going to log those minutes. He can provide offense, and Salandra too. I mean, what that does to his game. Hey, all of a sudden you're playing with a couple of first-round picks, and that's going to give you a little bit of a spark to his game. And we saw that in the first period. He gets 2 assists. The creativity there for Joe, certainly there. But Emil Hemming, again, he's going to be a guy that he's going to play a factor on rather specialty teams and just key points in the game, whether defending the lead or looking to get back into a game.
So Emil Hemming already 1 goal in his return to the Barrie Colts lineup. And we also saw a couple times there where Cole Baudouin with that pass across into the slot. Hemming a couple of times not able to get there in time, but it's coming once these players start to get that chemistry going once again, because it has been a while since these guys have suited up together. It seems like it's not taking long for that chemistry to rebuild.
No, I don't think it takes long. I mean, oh yeah, hey, but these two played a lot together last year, Bowden and Hemming. I don't think it's any surprise that they're together, and you see that chemistry coming back, and it led to a couple of great chances. And again, there's that line that can push back, and for Barrie, and and all of a sudden as well, it makes your lineup that much deeper, and guys are fighting to get in and out into the lineup. And Hemming brings that experience, and like I said, the ability to log big minutes in that top 6.
And also a shout out to Josh Sweetland from the Ontario Hockey League. He came up to the box, said hi pregame. I know he's one saying it's an exciting night at the Madhouse. And, it's his first trip, I think he said, to Brantford so far this season. And what a treat it was seeing these two teams battle it out in that opening 20 minutes. I know that there's a lot of expectations this year for Brantford. But when you see the Colts and this lineup coming together, this may be a sample of what's in store as the season goes on.
No, look, that shows you, right? Like, you look at the standings. All right, you got Brantford at the top. You got Barrie, near the bottom. Barrie's, lost 6 of the last 7 games. And, okay, maybe it's going to be a lopsided game. Not in junior hockey and, on the old any given night. But, I'll tell you, I think, we saw Barrie, a better team than maybe what the record shows. Certainly, and this Brantford team, look, it's a huge motivation. Talking to Dylan Smoskowitz after that win on Saturday, after knocking off Kitchener, now we turn our focus to Brantford, and what a great reward that would be, is to hand Brantford a first loss. I mean, a long way to go here, 40 minutes, but it's a good start.
Well, Dylan Smoskowitz in the coach's corner did mention that this team wanting to be that first team to defeat the Brantford Bulldogs in regulation, and so far so good after the first period. But this is a lethal Brantford Bulldogs team. We know that they're capable of coming back, so a lot can happen over the next 40 minutes of play. Quickly taking a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, there was 2 school day games in the OHL. First, the Ottawa 67s winning in overtime over the Brampton Steelheads. So Ottawa winning in the school day game, and then the Owen Sound Attack 7-3 final over the Sarnia Sting. Of course, Sarnia, they'll be in Barrie tomorrow night at the Saddlein Arena. And a little shocking just to see how lopsided of a score that is the Sarnia Sting team. Jekyll and Hyde right now. They played the Windsor Spitfires great 2 weeks ago during the rivalry weekend, and suddenly now having problems keeping the pucks out of the net.
That's a team with a lot of good young talent on it. You got to be careful not to kind of, look past them or think that, hey, it's going to be an easy night. But yeah, tough one this afternoon. And I still think I can hear the arena buzzing with all that school day action. But I think for Sarnia, again, it's easy to kind of look past. You got to be careful, right? I mean, Barrie's had a bit of a tough start. They're in there tomorrow, and Sarnia is going to be determined after taking it on the chin today.
So, and there's only one other game currently underway, and that's up at the Sudbury Community Arena. The Wolves right now trailing the Sioux Greyhounds midway through the second period. That's a 2-0 score as Sudbury putting up 8 goals against the Peterborough Petes on Sunday, a team that looks like maybe the offense is starting to click, but right now having some difficulties against the Sioux. So still about 6 minutes to go until the start of the second period. It is 2-0 for the Barrie Colts. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we will be preparing ourselves for the second period here from the TD Civic Center in Brantford. So we're getting ready to go for the second period of play between the Barrie Colts and the Brantford Bulldogs. And right now we're joined by Josh McCann, who also made the trip down here to Brantford. This is becoming a recurring theme. Eugene and I on the road, and somehow they keep letting us in the building.
I'm scared about the next time we're together. They may not let us in next time.
So it was an entertaining first period there for the Barrie Colts. And, it's also interesting of note for Ryder Bolton dropping the gloves twice, first with Luke Govro and then again with Kayshawn Aitchison. And as a result, Bolton given that game misconduct. So such an interesting circumstance here after the opening 20.
Well, he must have wanted to get home to the Blue Jays game or something because, I mean, he fought twice and he tried to fight a third time. It was quite the period for Ryder Bolton. It was, I think, a period that describes what Ryder Bolton kind of did for the London Knights and now does for the Brantford Bulldogs. He's out there to be a grinder and to drop the gloves and try and change the momentum of the game. And saw him as he was going off the ice, yelling at his bench, telling them to get going. As Bulldogs find themselves probably a bit surprised to be down 2-0 to the Colts right now.
Well, that, like I was saying to Gene, that may have been the Barrie Colts' best period of hockey so far this season. You have the lead, 2-0 on the Bulldogs. You kill off that penalty kill. And, that was a power play where the Brantford Bulldogs doing a great job moving that puck around. And Ben Horebic in the defense had to stand tall.
Yeah, Ben Horebic looked really good in the first period. Of those 12 shots, there were definitely a few high-quality opportunities for the Bulldogs. And the defense as well, really strong, killing off that penalty taken by Gabriel Eliasson, and that was going to be a big focus point coming into this game. You got the #1 power play taking on a team that's not only 20th on the penalty kill, but 5th most penalty minutes in the OHL. And so far for the Barrie Colts, so good, 1 for 1 on the penalty kill, but they're going to want to stay out of the box against a tough team like Brantford here.
So obviously with Kayshawn Aitchison dropping the gloves with Ryder Bolton, that means his services will be unavailable for the first 5 minutes of the second period as action back underway here at the Civic Center. Bulldogs trying to send it into the Barrie zone. Here is Gallagher. Gallagher loses an edge. He was in a battle with Gardner. Gallagher gets it again, back to the blue line. Angle takes the shot. That's blocked in front. Puck goes to the corner. McHugh, he's bumped off the puck. Gardner trying to send that one around. Puck's in the corner. Bodie Stewart there to pick it up. Testa was knocked over by Eliasson. The fans wanted a penalty, but play continues. Colts with possession. Emerton's going to take this back behind his own net. Being chased there by O'Brien. Now he'll skate it forward. Emerton up the wing. Gardner tips that one into the Brantford zone. Igorov out of his net to play it. Colts will make a line change. Puck's on the far side. Bodwin got a stick on it. Slandra back to Bodwin. Knocked away by O'Brien. Jake O'Brien. Pass goes off a skate. Igorov will come out of his net to play it. Drops it back to Drevetsky. Angle can't hold on to it. Hemming to the net. Deflected by Bodwin, but Igorov with a mask save. Hemming again, stopped by Igorov. Rebound. Bulldogs trying to send it to the corner. Picked up by Salandra in front. That goes through the blue paint, but Bodwin couldn't get a stick on it. Passmore back behind the net for Bodwin. Cole Bodwin comes out from the corner, dropping this one back behind the Brantford net. Angles there. He's tied up by Salandra. Far side Van Acker. Turns that one over to Hemming. Hemming down to Salandra. Salandra finds Bodwin. Takes the shot. That's deflected out of play. As this line, what a job there. Bodwin, Hemming, and Salandra keeping the Bulldogs stuck in their own zone.
Well, I think coming into this game, we were discussing who could be the guy to play on that line with Bodwin and Hemming. You knew who the one center and the one right wing were going to be, but who's going to be the left winger? And Joe Salandra's done a pretty good job on that top line here tonight so far.
Well, he's looked quite comfortable out there playing on that line. And for Joe Salandra, coming into this game, he had a goal and 7 assists, good for 8 points. So not bad for his first season in the Ontario Hockey League. Faceoff coming to the left of Igorov, won by Brantford. Juracek ahead for Dennis. Dennis gets the line, not out, kept in by Edgar. Juracek, though, will follow it up. He'll skate this one out for the Bulldogs, gives it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell ahead for Juracek, takes the shot, hits the side of the net, puck's loose. Assadorian gets that one to the corner, picked up by Vader. Teague Vader, he'll skate this one forward, sends this one down the ice, knocked down by Juracek. Juracek sending that one across. Protz sends it forward, puck's loose at center ice. Desiderio passing that one forward, and then Edgar took a hard hit from Juracek. I don't think he saw him coming. They're both going for a bouncing puck. Puck's down low. Malhotra gives it to O'Donnell. We'll have to keep an eye on Edgar. He's being treated there on the bench. Colts trying to move this one out of their zone. Bulldogs take it away. Turning this one around is Dennis. Dennis at the point. His shot blocked by Asadorian. That'll break his stick. Colts send it down ice. Schneid after it. Moore will get to it first here for Brantford. We'll skate this one ahead. That pass deflected. O'Donnell sends it deep, and that's going to go behind the net. Colts there to pick it up. Here's Hanser. Ahead, deflected by Schneid. And that's going to be an icing call now against the Barrie Colts as Eamon Edgar still being looked at after taking that hit.
Yeah, Edgar was just coming through the middle there, and Jiricek skating there at the same time. Didn't even look like Jiricek really was planning to hit him, but he saw Edgar just right in front of him, quickly reacted, took down Edgar, and he's sticking it out on the bench. He hasn't had to skate off or anything, so that's a good sign.
Well, here at the Civic Center, you'd have to skate across the ice to get to the Barrie Colts dressing room. But Edgar's still on the bench, which is a good sign there for the Colts. Buckman gives it up to Moore inside his own zone, puts that one off the glass. Hanser got a piece of it. Hanser can't get it by Holmes. Puck goes to the far corner in the Barrie zone. Schneid ahead, finds Govro. Luke Govro sends that one deep off the end boards. Bulldogs after it. Moore up the wing. Benek dropping there to Cherna. Picked up by Holmes. Holmes takes the shot, blocked by Stewart. Puck's going to go around the boards, far side. Bulldogs trying to keep this one in the zone. They will. Back to the point. Gravetsky will peel back. Has it at the far point. Takes the shot. That's deflected wide. Loose puck picked up by Crombie. Crombie gets this out to the neutral zone where it's collected by Angle. He's going to put this one across. Hanser with possession for the Colts. Barrie making a line change. Up ahead to Gardner, but good work there by Edison Angle to take it away. Puck comes to the near side at the Bulldogs blue line, and that's going to be an offside call against the Barrie Colts.
Nice play there by Angle as it was Gardner grabbing the puck there on the blue line right beside the Colts bench and hit Crombie through the middle. They either could have came in on a 2-on-1 or Crombie may have been able to break free for a breakaway if Angle hadn't got a touch on that puck.
So face-off coming outside the Bulldogs blue line, won cleanly by Gardner. He sends that one all the way back into his own zone. Vader taking it around his own net, facing some pressure there from Testa. Vader reaches center ice, gave that up to Crombie. Calvin Crombie up to Bodie Stewart. Stewart inside the blue line trying to play it, finds Crombie back in front, but Gardner couldn't get to it. Vader on the far side, gets away from McHugh, takes it down low for the Colts. Around the net, Crombie, that pass is blocked. Crombie gets it again, passing in front, blocked by Angle. Good work there by the Brantford defense. Bulldogs get it to the line and out. Bodie Stewart's there for the Colts, gives that one back to Emerton. Cole Emerton backtracking, goes over to Eliason. Up the wing, Gardner receives the pass in the neutral zone. He's going to dump it in, around the boards. Stewart on the far side. Trying to pass that one forward, didn't get all of it. Bulldogs get it out. Testa. He'll peel back here for Brantford, gains some momentum through the neutral zone. We'll dump this one in. Eliason back behind his own net, looks over his shoulder, decides to play it back to Emerton. Cole Emerton has some room to work with as he skates this one up, reaches center. Now he'll dump it in. Around the boards, Protz. He'll kick this one back behind his own net as we're at the 5-minute mark of the second period. Still 2-0 for Barrie. O'Brien sending it across to Van Acker. Van Acker takes the shot. That goes over the net. Puck sails back to the point. Jiricek with possession. He'll keep it in. Takes the shot blocked by Bodwin. And that's going to go all the way back into the Brantford zone. Owen Protz back to Jiricek. Quick pass. That's center Van Acker. Over to O'Brien. Jake O'Brien hits the brakes. Salandra reaching around, trying to knock it loose. O'Brien passes that one to the corner. Taken away by Passmore. Passmore takes a hard hit from Van Acker. Puck's behind the Colts net. It's bouncing. Bulldogs with it. One-timer stopped by Harevic. That was Jiricek who fired that one. Bulldogs get it at the point. Jiricek again. Decides to pass it. O'Brien couldn't get a stick on it. Puck's in the corner. Passmore and O'Brien battling in the corner. Passmore trying to move it along. Bodwen's there. Bulldogs with it. Battle continues. Bodwen bumping there with O'Brien. Picked up here by Banak. Banak passing that one across. Protz in front. Stopped by Harevic. What a save. The net comes off. And now we're getting some pushing and shoving as a result. But Ben Harevic stretching out that left pad to keep that one from going in, as he has been sensational so far tonight.
Well, a couple big saves there by Harevic, first on Jiricek, and then somehow able to get enough of that one to keep it out, and then makes sure as all the Bulldog players converge to try and tap it in, he's able to keep it covered. All 10 skaters on the ice in the blue crease by the end of that one there.
And not a lot of room to work with in that net, but what a save by Hrebeck, and Kayshawn Aitchison now out of the penalty box after serving that major for fighting. And the Colts bench tapping their sticks in appreciation. And no surprise, Kayshawn Aitchison, he's going to go right back on the ice to get his first shift of this period.
Well, in this performance by Ben Hrebeck tonight, that's kind of what you expected of Ben Hrebeck after last season, and coming into this year, the first bunch of games he was playing up to the task, and then over the last little bit he's been good, but just so many opportunities against. He's been allowing a few more goals, but he was strong on Saturday against Kitchener and has had a great start to tonight's game.
Right now the Bulldogs out shooting Barrie 14-9 as the Bulldogs try and get back into this hockey game. Puck's deep in the Brantford zone. Malhotra is there trying to keep it away from Macedonian. Moore comes out from behind his own net, passing that one over to Malhotra. Ahead, finds Dennis. That got away from him. Aitchison trying to go between the legs. Malhotra finds it across, and that's not able to connect with O'Donnell. He would have had an open net, but now the Colts take it back the other way. Macedonian dumping this one in. Egeroff sends that one around. Puck takes a weird bounce in the corner. Trying to get to that loose puck is Desiderio. Puck picked up here by Moore. Moore up ahead. O'Donnell. He's stood up by Eliasson. He's able to dump that one deep. Malhotra leans into Aitchison. Loose puck. Moore winds up. His shot on goal. Stopped by Hrebeck as he's able to hold on to it with 13:09 still to play in the second period. But what a game this has been tonight.
What an opportunity there. It looked destined to be 2-1 after that pass from Caleb Malhotra across to Aidan O'Donnell, but just a bit too much on it. Went through the legs of O'Donnell, but now seeing Eamon Ecker going to skate off as he heads to get checked out. But for Caleb Malhotra, Mike, I mean, the Brantford Bulldogs have to be really grateful that he did not want to go to Kingston last year.
Well, with the whole NCAA holdout, his plan was to go to school. And for the Kingston Frontenacs, a player doesn't report, so you can trade away their rights and you gain that extra first-round pick. So they did benefit with their first-round selections this year. But could you imagine if they had Caleb Malhotra last season on that team? As we saw Kingston in the playoffs, they were quite the force.
Well, they took the Colts to 7 games. He could have been a guy that was a difference in that series. And you look on Brantford on the other side of things now. They had 2 first-round picks last year plus a first-round pick this year. I mean, that just gives you way more assets to work with at the trade deadline. I think we can guarantee this is a Bulldogs team that's going to add a pretty big name at the deadline. We don't know who yet, but they're one of the big names out there could end up in Brantford.
Well, I know the next question is, with Jet Luchenko just being returned to the Guelph Storm, is Luchenko going to be made available? And would the Bulldogs look up Highway 6 and try and make a deal with the team in the Royal City? Right now it is a 2-0 score. Face-off picked up there by the Colts. Aitchison gets it out. Juracek knocks it down at center ice. Beaudoin skates this one in. Beaudoin fans on the shot attempt. Buck goes to the corner. Hemming's there to collect it for the Colts. Emil Hemming, already a goal tonight, trying to go to Beaudoin. That's taken away by Juracek. Puck comes back to the point. Salandra passing that one across. Getting in the way was Banak. That puck's going to go all the way back into the Colts zone. Aitchison will send this one around. Hemming waits for it at center ice. Emil Hemming gives it up to Beaudoin. Cole Beaudoin stopped there by Juracek. Van Acker trying to turn it around quickly. Goes to Banak. Van Acker takes the shot, turned aside by Hrebeck. Passmore can't get that one out. Bulldogs, though, turn it over. Aitchison's going to send this one around. Juracek can't hold on to that. Puck's going to go down the ice. Hemming gives chase. Icing waved off. Emil Hemming down low for the Colts. Tied up there by Protz. Banak will collect it now for the Bulldogs. That's taken away by Beaudoin. What a shift here. Sends it back to the point, but Vader couldn't get to it in time. Vader dropping it back to Hanser. Up to Crombie. Got a stick on it. That's going to go deep into the Brantford zone. Juracek over to Protz. Protz nearly lost it. Facing pressure there from Crombie. Puck nearly taken away by Bodie Stewart. Now the Bulldogs will get it out. Chasing after it is O'Brien. O'Brien hits the brakes. He's tied up by Hanser. Battle ensues. Loose puck picked up by the Colts. That's Brad Gardner. Crombie trying to catch up to that loose puck in the neutral zone. Picked up by Stewart. Bodie Stewart chips that into the Brantford zone. Puck goes to the far corner. Stewart sending that one behind the net. Trevesky comes up with it for the Bulldogs, turns it over at center ice. Vader trying to send it back into the Brantford zone. Here's Crombie. Crombie will send it deep. Trevesky back to play it now for Brantford behind his own net. 11-14 still to go in the second period. Brantford down by 2. Out shooting the Colts 17-9. Hrebeck can't keep it behind his own net. Eliasson throws the hit. Bulldogs with it at the point. Trevesky sends it across to Angle. Back to Trevesky. Takes the shot. That's blocked by Crombie. Trevesky gets the loose puck. Takes the shot. That's a high riser. Nearly hit the Bulldog player in the face as Emerton was in the battle there. That was Luca Testa. But we'll get a whistle.
Well, shots here early in this period. Well, about halfway through now, but shots 4-1 for the Brantford Bulldogs right now. And the Barrie Colts outside of the shifts from the top line of Baudouin, Hemming, and Slant. It doesn't feel like they're getting a lot of offense going at this moment.
Yeah, and also with Eamon Edgar going off to the locker room to be checked out after his collision with Juracek. Now they're playing short of forward. Yes, we'll keep an eye on see if Edgar comes back to join his teammates. But this is where it's going to be the next man up approach here for the Barrie Colts as they hold on to this lead, approaching the midway point of the hockey game. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Here's Van Acker. Takes the shot, puts it over the net. And that's actually going to go over the glass and out of play. So we'll try this face-off once more.
Nice job by the Colts there, converging on Van Acker, getting a tip on that one. A guy like Van Acker, you can't leave him alone in that spot. And Colts made sure he can't get the puck on net on Ben Hrebeck. Sure, Van Acker would love a goal. I saw earlier in the first period after a bit of a scrum, him and Ben Hrebeck were kind of going back and forth with each other.
Well, for Van Acker, he is second in goal scoring in the Ontario Hockey League with 11 goals. So always a threat out on the ice. As we got the face-off to the left of Hrebeck. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Here's Luke Moore. Takes the shot, stopped by Hrebeck. Rebound, kicks out the leg. Puck still loose. They're jamming at it. Bulldogs can't find it. It's actually in Hrebeck's glove. He's just casually showing the puck to the referee. See, it's right here. It was here all along.
Well, you might as well just sit around if no one's gonna
let the time continue to run.
I mean, you're up 2-0. You might as well. But for this top line of Brantford, it kind of feels like the Barrie Colts have done a solid job against them. Where they're in the zone really for most of their shifts, but the Colts have done a good job not letting them get that big opportunity. They've kept them to the outsides, have kept the defender close at all times, and that's one of the reasons why the Bulldogs get to score. Van Acker and O'Brien haven't been able to get a big opportunity yet.
Well, the Barrie Colts just one shot so far in this second period as they hold on to that lead, being outshot 19-9. Face-off won by Brantford. There's Juracek with the one-timer. What a blast. But Ben Hrebeck makes another glove save as Van Acker and Aitchison now go nose-to-nose after that battle.
A lot of chippy stuff tonight, Mike.
Well, for some reason, whenever it's Colts and Bulldogs, it's a rivalry that I don't think gets enough attention. And I know they met in the playoffs a few years ago when it was the Hamilton Bulldogs, but for some reason, whenever these two teams cross paths, it's always the spirited tilt.
Well, that playoff series was very spirited. I mean, from game one on, Florian Ajaki on Brantford, he wasn't, for Hamilton at the time, he wasn't afraid to touch Brant Clark or any of the very big guys at that time. And it kind of started with that Brant Clark Michigan goal to make it like 9-2 in game number 1.
And then, of course, Anson Thornton with the goalie goal in that series. And then Panwar with the big hit on Brant Clark. That series had it all. And who knows, maybe these two teams will cross paths come playoff time at the end of the regular season. But right now it is 2-0 for the Colts. As we're approaching the midway point of the hockey game, Benak sends that back to the point. That shot goes wide. Juracek's there, takes the shot through the blue paint. Protz keeps it at the point. Down low to Van Acker. That got by him. O'Brien behind the net. Van Acker takes the shot, blocked by Passmore. Aitchison up to Hemming. Protz takes it away from him. Baudouin will take Protz into the boards. Loose puck. Bulldogs trying to take that one to the net. That was O'Brien. Puck knocked away. Van Acker in the corner. Back to Banak. That pass deflected by Hemming. Puck's in front of the net. Bulldogs can't get to it. Van Acker in the corner. Battling again with Aitchison. Aitchison had his helmet taken off. They're wrestling in the corner as the play comes back to the point. Now we've got Van Acker and another Bulldog player tackling Aitchison. Now we've got Egorov coming down the ice with Hrebeck coming out of his crease. As we got a bit of a line tussle here between the Colts and the Bulldogs. Now Protz, he's got his right free. My, oh my, this game is just getting heated. As Aitchison being now sent to the box, and now he's pointing at the Brantford Bulldogs bench. What a way to rile up the crowd.
Well, just a reminder, because you guys can't see this, these are these two teams' top lines right now. This isn't the fourth lines going at it. These are the star players. Van Acker
and now we've got Jay McKee standing on top of the bench. He was yelling at the officials. Owen Protz has just been sent off. Man, oh man. The madhouse here is alive and well.
Passmore still going at it there with Lucas Moore.
Well, there's a trainer now having words with Evan Passmore for the Brantford Bulldogs. Everybody's getting in on it. Passmore is still having words with the Bulldogs bench. My, oh my, how are they going to settle this one?
So far, Aitchison's in the box, Van Acker's in the box, and Protz has been kicked off. I didn't see any Colts players head down the tunnel. Now Crombie's over by the Brantford tunnel.
Well, I think Crombie was getting some of the equipment in the corner. We've got Kayshawn Aitchison in the penalty box for the Barrie Colts. But my, oh my, we had Jay McKee standing on the ledge of the bench, the training staff having words with Evan Passmore as he skated by. This rivalry is alive and well.
We picked a good time to talk about how it seemed to be a rivalry these last few years. I mean, wow. And it started with Aitchison and Van Acker in the corner, and the two of them went down.
Well, now we've got Van Acker yelling out of the penalty box at Brad Gardner. Van Acker, he is heated. Well, it all started, like you said, you had Kayshawn Aitchison and Van Acker tied up in the corner. Van Acker ripped off the helmet of Kayshawn Aitchison, and then Owen Protz, the third man in, came skating over, dropping his gloves to go after Aitchison. So you had two Bulldogs on the Colts defenseman.
Well, I don't know for sure if Aitchison was trying to get free of Van Acker or if Aitchison was on top of him, still wrestling him down. But when Owen Protz turned, he saw Aitchison on top of him and immediately skated over to defend one of his star players. And
well, then Ben Hrebeck, he was in joining the crowd, and then David Egorov of the Brantford Bulldogs skated almost to midway down the ice. As yeah, what a spirited matchup here in the second. Now it looks like Van Acker's night might be done as he's being sent off. So Protz and Van Acker have been sent down the tunnel.
Would that be for removing the helmet?
Potentially. We saw that in the game against Kitchener, where Diricolo removed the helmet of Eliasson, but that was during a scrap. And looks like we've got one penalty on the board, and that's going to be against Owen Protz. His number's up there.
Probably good. Ryder Fulham got kicked out earlier.
But that's just it. Yeah, he had two fights in the first period alone. Ryder Bolton on Luke Govro and then Kayshawn Aitchison. As the fans here at the Madhouse getting quite heated with the officials, not liking the call from the referees.
Well, you mentioned Ben Hrebeck coming out, and in that first period, there was the scrum that Gabriel Eliasson got kicked off, and Hrebeck, that being, went after a couple of the Bulldogs players in his crease, wasn't a fan of what was going on, and it's been quite an entertaining game tonight. Lots of physicality. Aitchison being sent off now.
So the fans cheering as Aitchison makes his way down the tunnel, as Luca Testa now in the box to serve the penalty for Owen Protz. So it is a power play here for the Barrie Colts, brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. As the Colts power play 7th in the OHL. Hemming shot stopped by Egorov. Loose puck. Jamming at it was Gardner, but couldn't get a stick on it. Emerton at the point. Goes to Beaudoin. Back to Emerton. Beaudoin across finds Hemming. Emil Hemming at the point. Back to Emerton. Hemming receives the pass. Takes his time. Down low. Finds Salandra. Back to Hemming. Emil Hemming. Salandra. Those two work to give and go. Hemming. High slot. Salandra. One-timer. Fan on that one. Beaudoin gets it in the corner. Back to Hemming. Hemming. Fan on the pass attempt. Bulldogs trying to get it out. They will. That's center ice. It's Emerton. Passing that one up to Gardner. Emerton back in his own zone. 1:13 left in the power play here for the Barrie Colts. The penalty kill for Brantford, 5th best in the OHL at 84.8%. As the Colts move it into the Brantford zone, that's taken away. Good stick work there by Malhotra, and he'll send that back into the Barrie zone. Colts turn it over. There's O'Brien down low. Shot stopped by Hrebeck. That was Dennis from the corner. Bulldogs get it out to center ice. Picked up here by Juracek as they take more time off this Colts power play. Trevetsky up to O'Brien. O'Brien loses it to Emerton as the Colts try and regroup. They're on the power play. Puck's turned over in front of their own net. Trevetsky will take this one back into his own zone, taking more time off this Barrie power play. Trevetsky, long stretch pass. Here's O'Brien. O'Brien sends it across, but not able to get a stick on it was Gallagher, and he's just going to send it back as the Brantford Bulldogs right now playing keep away with the Barrie Colts. And now the puck's touched, and I believe this is going to be too many men on the ice now against the Barrie Colts. As Sieg Vader, I believe, was coming off the bench, or Crombie.
Spader.
And he touched the puck as they were making a line change, so there goes the power play.
It's like Govro's going to come over and serve this, and not the power play the Barrie Colts were looking for. No shots. More of the pressure was in the Colts end. A couple of big opportunities. O'Brien and Gallagher had a 2-on-1, and not what the Barrie Colts wanted. Halfway through this game, it's a chance to get a big 3-0 lead, but instead you kind of gave all the momentum over to the Brantford Bulldogs.
Well, they were moving the puck quite well at the start of the power play, but as soon as the Bulldogs cleared the zone, Barrie just couldn't get possession of that puck. As we'll get the faceoff now to the right of Ben Hrebeck, 4-on-4 here for 15 seconds. And then the Bulldogs will go on their second power play of the night. Eliasson can't hold it behind his own net. Revetsky across, one-timer, that's wide of the goal. That was Juracek who fired it, turns it over to Newton. Jaden Newton skates this one ahead. He's got Schneid going to the net, passes it to Schneid, and he puts it wide. Loose puck, picked up here by Newton in front of the net. On his backhand shot, stopped by Egorov. Bulldogs pick it up. They'll skate this one ahead. It's Luca Testa. Reaches center ice. It's now a Bulldogs power play. Second of the game, and that pass is deflected. Colts get it down the ice. 1:24 left in the power play here for the Brantford Bulldogs as Juracek has possession at his own blue line. Up to Malhotra. Caleb Malhotra gives it up to O'Brien. Across, finds Juracek. Juracek sending that one down low. Bulldogs moving it around the perimeter. Juracek across, finds Banak. Banak down low. Malhotra to the point. O'Brien, Banak across, deflected by Hanser. And the Colts will get this one out and down the ice. Power play now down to 53 seconds. Bulldogs in their own zone. It's Jake O'Brien. Keeps it away from Hemming, reaches center ice. O'Brien carrying it in here for Brantford. Drops it back to Trevetsky. Trevetsky down low. Here's O'Brien. O'Brien back to Trevetsky. Trevetsky near side Banak. Couldn't get that shot to go. Still with it here for the Bulldogs. Banak across, deflected by Gardner. O'Brien after it in the corner. He's tied up. Bulldogs send it around to the near side. Malhotra can't keep it in as the puck will go back into the Brantford zone. 20 seconds left in the penalty. Bulldogs take it out from behind their own net. Entering the zone on the far side, McHugh passing it towards O'Brien. McHugh follows it up, stopped by Hrebeck. As he's going to hold on, and now Justin Hanser protecting his goaltender from 3 white sweaters. And then Eliasson also taking a bit of a shot there from Malhotra as the officials just trying to cool these two teams down.
I think Eliasson was maybe trying to draw them into a penalty there because he kind of came over, gave a small shove, and then just kind of let them attack him there.
Oh, what a game this has been here tonight. So Luke Govro is going to come out of the penalty box in 8 seconds. Face off to the right of Ben Harebic. Face off won by the Colts. Emerton behind his own net. Trying to hold it along the boards, taking time off this power play. Asadorian comes up with it. That's center. Crombie loses the handle of it. Angle in his own zone. Govro back on the ice, so even strength. Moore sends this one ahead. Dennis got a stick on it, so no icing. Emerton behind his own net. We'll pass this one up to Crombie. Calvin Crombie across. That one went off Asadorian. He can't find it. Desiderio will dump it in. Egorov playing it back behind his own net. 5.5 minutes left here in the period. And then Crombie with a big hit on Angle. And now the Bulldogs, Moore going after Crombie. Former teammates going toe-to-toe behind the Bulldogs net. Crombie's on his knees as Moore trying to go over top. As those two will be separated, but Calvin Crombie all smiles after that one.
Well, he's probably smiling because I think the Barrie Colts are about to get a power play. Lucas Moore came in there after Crombie took down Angle and gave Crombie a shot from behind, and the official's hand was up before they dropped the gloves, and I don't think Crombie would get any type of instigator penalty on that one.
Well, Crombie's skating to the penalty box with his hands up saying, "What happened?" Well, what's going on? As Lucas Moore going after Crombie after he delivered that hit on Edison Angle. As now the officials trying to figure out how this is going to be. If you wanted a feisty hockey game, this was it. A lot of penalties. The bench is starting to get a little thin. And we still have 25 minutes of hockey to go.
But looking at the OHL website right now, all three of Trotz, Van Acker, and Aitchison were giving 2-minute roughings plus 10-minute misconducts. So all of them will be back in the game in the third period. But the shots are only 4-1 this period. I think the teams forgot about the objective of shooting the puck and have just decided to have a brawl.
Well, the shots actually are 25-11 as the Bulldogs 13 shots to 3 in this second period. Like, Brantford has gotten so many chances. Harebic has been outstanding in his net, but it's just the frustrations here for the Bulldogs just carrying over.
Yeah, now they're going to be stuck on the penalty kill again. I was wondering. I thought there were more shots. The thing didn't change.
Well, they're having technical difficulties with their scoreboard here tonight. From what I'm understanding, they have to actually go communicate downstairs to send the shots to the big board. So it's a tight squeeze here in the press box. So we've got the off-ice official. So I'm able to see on the screen the shots. So it is a Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. Second power play of the night for the Barrie Colts. Face-off to the right of Egorov. Face-off won by the Colts. Beaudoin back to Gardner. Emerton ahead to Hemming. Hemming sends it back. That's taken away by Dennis. Cooper Dennis carrying this one in shorthanded. Cuts the middle. His shot wide of the net. It's loose puck. After it is Gardner trying to send it behind his own net. Cole Emerton. He'll settle things down here. Power play down to 1:42. Emerton trying to protect that puck from Dennis. Drops it back to Hemming. Beaudoin sees the pass in the neutral zone. Carrying it in. Beaudoin to the net. Passes it across. Salandra stopped by Egorov. Gardner shot again. Loose puck. Hemming scores. Emil Hemming is second of the night. As that puck was just loose, Egorov did all that he could. And this is now a 3-0 hockey game.
Well, the power play didn't start the way Emil Hemming wanted it. His first touch on the puck, he fanned on the pass and gave it over to Cooper Dennis, who had a big opportunity back the other way. Colts come right back in. It's Salandra wide open in the slot. It's the first shot stopped by Egorov. Then Gardner got the rebound, and Beaudoin does a great job, able to chip that puck loose. And Hemming sitting behind there, able to find the back of the net. Colts lead now 3-0.
Well, right now the officials, I think, just waiting for the score to be updated on the board. But I know in the chat, they were talking about just how excited they are to have Emil Hemming back. And my, oh my, he is having a game after coming back from the Texas Stars. 4:44 still to go here in the second period. 3-0 for the Barrie Colts. Puck's down low. Bulldogs whip it. They'll send this one ahead through center. Chasing after it is Holmes. Eliasson gets to it first. That'll go back behind the Colts net. Hanser comes up with it. Lost the handle, and then Hanser's run over. That's going to be an interference call against Tashurna as the Colts enter the zone. It's so loud in here that they couldn't hear the whistle on the offside, but the Barrie Colts are going to go back on the power play. It's an interference call.
Now, Owen Protz is across the way yelling at the officials, even though him and Van Acker on 10-minute misconducts, they're out watching the game, and Protz opened the door there and started yelling. As for the Brantford Bulldogs, I mean, this is a team that hasn't lost in regulation yet. They're not really used to being out of games, and emotions seeming to take over here in the second period.
They are a frustrated bunch, and yeah, there's 3 players across from us in the tunnel to the Bulldogs dressing room, and Owen Protz opened the door to yell at the official when he's not even supposed to be on the ice. He was sent off. But the Barrie Colts on the power play, brought to you by FrontlineHockeyApparel.com. You can find them at FrontlineHockeyApparel.com. As we've seen a little bit of everything here this evening. The Bulldogs quickly get this one down the ice. The Colts 1 for 2 on the power play so far tonight. Emil Hemming scored on the power play a few minutes ago. Emerton at center ice. He's going to drop this one back into the skates of Hemming. Emil Hemming up to Gardner. Brad Gardner from the corner. They'll send this one back to the point. Emerton to Hemming. Hemming on the near side. Down low. Finds Salandra. His pass deflected. Egorov trying to. What a save by Egorov. Puck still loose. They jam at it. Haven't gotten a whistle. Gardner finds it. In front shot. What a save again by Egorov. Oh my goodness. David Egorov keeping it a 3-0 score. That was outstanding. Now the Bulldogs have it shorthanded in the Barrie zone. They're just going to skate this one back. That's Cooper Dennis. Sends it on goal. Stopped by Hrevik. The arena's still buzzing from those saves from David Egorov.
I don't even think he saw the puck on the first save he made there. That was amazing.
Here's Hemming carrying this one in. Already 2 goals tonight. Passing this one back to Vader. Bodwin on the near side. 46 seconds left in the power play. Vader over to Stewart. Comes off the bench. Vader. Bodwin. Bodwin waits. Fires. Blocked by Angle. Puck goes to the corner. Cole Bodwin behind the net. Quick pass in front, but Stewart can't handle it. And now the Bulldogs skated up shorthanded. Vanek up to O'Brien. O'Brien forced to peel back. Jake O'Brien taking more time off this Colts power play. Barrie trying to regain possession. Nicholas Desiderio now. He'll skate this one forward. Desiderio dropping it to Asadorian. Across. Stewart. What a pass, but Desiderio misses the net. Almost a tic-tac goal there for the Barrie Colts. O'Brien skating this one ahead for Brantford, but that's going to be offside. And then Desiderio just took a run at O'Brien after the whistle. He's now being surrounded by white sweaters. We also got Tashurna hammering the glass where Desiderio is. And that's going to be a penalty, as you can't be taking a run like that after the whistle.
Well, now Dravecki was trying to come over to the Colts penalty box there and get a few words in with Desiderio, and O'Brien came in offside, and then after the whistle, Desiderio gives him a shove and takes him down. But before that, what a save by David Egorov. Puck came out in front. Bodwin flipped it over top of him, and he spins back and backhands it with the glove. Then the Colts getting at it at the point at the crease there, and a big save on Bodwin. And then the second unit comes on. Bodie Stewart with a quick pass down to Desiderio. Thought he had an open net. Egorov slides across, makes a huge save to keep this game at 3-0.
So it's going to be 4-on-4 for 7 seconds. And then Brantford, they're going to get their 3rd power play of the night. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. Dravecki takes the shot. That goes wide of the net. Vanek after it. Tashurna coming out of the box. So now it's a power play for the Bulldogs. Brantford keeping this one in. Far side. Juracek along the boards. Takes this one to the corner. Juracek back to O'Brien. Vanek takes the shot, deflected over the net. McHugh may have gotten a piece of it, as that puck's going to go out of play. And nearly hit the Bulldog players that are still standing in the tunnel.
I guess that's allowed.
I thought you were supposed to go to the dressing room, but
Well, I certainly didn't think you were allowed to open the door and yell at the
no.
officials, but either the officials, I mean, it was very loud in here, so it would have been hard to hear them, but
Still, Owen Protz
You think-
opening the door.
you'd think someone would have noticed them by now up there.
Well, you got Van Acker and Protz in their gear still standing at the glass. As the Colts win the faceoff, we've got 1:56 remaining in the second period. 3-0 Barrie. Malhotra falls down, plays it ahead to McHugh. Shot stop, rebound. Another chance, blocked by Passmore. And Horevic able to cover it up as he gives a couple of pats to Bodwin and Passmore for their efforts.
Great job by Evan Passmore there. Brantford may have had a great opportunity. Horevic was sliding across, but Passmore able to get out in front of it as they get the puck down low. First shot stopped by Horevic, and then the rebound blocked off by Passmore on a big opportunity. Started by the shot of Sam McHugh.
There's Benak at the point, takes the shot, deflected in front. McHugh is tripped up. Play continues. He'll send that one around, and the puck's going to escape the zone. Juracek chasing after it. Back to Benak at the center ice. Benak enters the zone, trying to cut to the middle. Had his stick lifted by Bodwin. Colts trying to get it out. At the point, kept in by Adam Benak. Benak up ahead to O'Brien. O'Brien passes it across. Bodwin was in the lane. Juracek comes out of the corner. Benak just keeps that one in. Now he's facing pressure from Bodwin. Bodwin gets it out. Puck comes to center ice. Hemming trying to take it away from Benak. Up ahead to Malhotra. 37 seconds left in the power play here for Brantford. Malhotra up to O'Brien, passing it across. McHugh on the far boards, dropping this one back. O'Brien to Juracek at the point. Back to O'Brien. O'Brien trying to come to the middle, weaving his way, high slot, across, one-timer, and Juracek puts it wide of the net. O'Brien can't keep that one in at the point. 14 seconds left in the penalty to Desiderio. O'Brien, he's stopped at the line. Benak after the loose puck. Benak comes off the board, shot, scores. What a shot! As Adam Benak goes bar down, and the Brantford Bulldogs, they're on the board.
Well, a great shot there by Benak, and with the final seconds of the penalty to Nicholas Desiderio, the Colts had a good penalty kill going for about 1:55. Bulldogs enter the zone. Benak comes up the wing, holds the puck as he gets closer and closer, not really pressured. Then finally, Eliason gets after it. Then Benak able to fire it upstairs.
What a shot from Adam Benak. That had heat. That's now 7 goals on the season for Benak. And coming into tonight's game, he was third in points in the Ontario Hockey League. As that gives the Bulldogs some life here. 30 seconds left here in the second period. Draveski back in his own zone. Engel sends it ahead. Testa sends this one around the boards. Hanser after it for the Colts. Hanser takes the hit, trying to play it. Bulldogs go to the point. That's taken away by Barrie, and they'll put it down the ice. Draveski loses it to Asadorian. Alex Asadorian shot stopped by Igorov. Around the net, Asadorian loses the handle of it. Bulldogs will take it away. Up to center ice, 4 seconds remaining. And that one goes onto the bench. Hit Sam McHugh. He's in some discomfort as he chucks the puck down the ice.
Well, Adam Benak, another guy similar to Malhotra that you didn't really realize was going to be a Brantford Bulldog because the Peterborough Pete's owned that selection in the CHL import draft this offseason. And then a trade came out of nowhere a couple days before the import draft for Brantford to trade up and just added on to their offense for a team that was already planning on contending here this season.
Man, this game has had a little bit of everything here tonight. As the Barrie Colts right now leading the Bulldogs by a score of 3-1. But man, oh man, that's I don't even know where to start because we had a little bit of everything. Goals from the Barrie Colts and the Bulldogs, and then a bit of a line brawl there that started with both Van Acker and Protz going after Kayshawn Aitchison.
Yeah, it was wild to see, and it was kind of right off the back of us kind of starting the conversation about, even though these two teams aren't division rivals, they don't really like each other, as we've seen over the last few years. And yeah, it was an interesting scenario. Aitchison and Van Acker went down in the corner, and Owen Prott saw Aitchison on top of Van Acker and went right after him. And that started a line brawl between the two teams' first lines, not their fourth lines. It was the first lines going at it there.
And also to note, Eamon Edgar still has not returned after he ran into Juracek. That collision, incidental. There was nothing,
That was the only thing incidental about this period.
touche. But yeah, so Edgar left the game, has not returned. We'll keep an eye on that, see if he comes back for the third period. But this game, a little bit of everything. Igorov, almost the turning point there for the Brantford Bulldogs. So the Barrie Colts had the power play, and he was just an acrobat, kind of like Dominic Hasek style, keeping the puck out of the net. And the Bulldogs able to capitalize on their power play.
Well, I think if you're taking a 4-goal lead into the third period, you're in a very, very good spot, no matter who the opponent is. And that's what the Barrie Colts looked like they were going to do, as that opportunity came out front of Igorov. But somehow he just went like this. Like,
I don't even know how to describe
it. Like back swatted with his glove as Baudouin flipped it over top of him. And then Baudouin got another opportunity. Desiderio got one as well. He was able to make the stop on every opportunity there. And then obviously the penalty by Desiderio sets up a Brantford power play where Banak gets them back in the game.
So the Barrie Colts up 3-1. Emil Hemming, 2 goals tonight. What a return for him, as the Colts, 20 minutes to go, and we might see the Brantford Bulldogs suffer that first regulation loss of the season. Obviously, you can't count out Brantford. This has got a team with a lot of offensive power, but still, the Colts surprisingly up by 2 goals after 2 periods of play. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to catch up with the OHL news. And when we come back, we do have the chat open. So if you want to share your surprise from that second period, or just want to contribute to the conversation, you can put that into the chat right now, and we'll get to it after the OHL news.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of OHL News. Coming up on the show, we'll talk to a New York Rangers draft choice who has taken part in his second Rangers camp. That in a moment, but first, this week's Kojiko OHL Player of the Week is Adam Bannock of the Brantford Bulldogs. He had a goal and 5 assists for 6 points in 2 Bulldogs victories over the last weekend as they swept rivalry weekend against the Brampton Steelheads. The 18-year-old who hails from Czechia was a 4th-round pick by the Minnesota Wild in the 2025 National Hockey League entry draft. Now he was a big part of the Brantford Bulldogs, as they are the number 1 team in this week's CHL Top 10 rankings. They are presented by Delta Hotels by Marriott. The Bulldogs number 1 in the nation. Other OHL representation comes from the Windsor Spitfires at number 4 and the Kitchener Rangers at number 8. Nathan Aspinall is a veteran in the Ontario Hockey League. He graduated from the Markham Waxers program and is a draft pick of the New York Rangers, as he was chosen by the Rangers back in 2024. Now he's helped the Flint Firebirds to a 4-game winning streak, including sweeping the weekend against the Saginaw Spirit during rivalry week. And we caught up this week to chat about the recent success for the Firebirds. 4-game winning streak as we catch up. What's gone well for the Firebirds at this point?
Yeah, I think the guys have been playing great. We've all been kind of growing as a team once we've been with each other for a while now, and I think things are finally going our way, and we just got to keep it going.
You've been around the league for a while now. Do you find it takes a little bit of time for everyone to get the chemistry going, especially if you have guys coming back from camp?
Yeah, it definitely is a bit of a change coming back, and it definitely is a lot of new faces on the team, so it does take a little bit of time to get back, but I think with this team, it grew pretty quickly, and now we're a super close team.
What are the things the coaching staff wants you guys to polish up on to have more success?
Yeah, I think we're all about little details. I think the whole game's around little details, just like stick checking and making sure we're in the game. So I think just our coaching staff really focuses on small details, and that helps us win games.
Rivalry week was last weekend. You guys played Saginaw. You play Saginaw lots of times over the season, By the time the season ends, do you guys get pretty sick of them?
Definitely, yeah, we do play a lot. So I've played them a lot over the years. We've played them my first year in playoffs, went to Game 7 with them. So definitely, yeah, a lot of similar faces for sure, but it does get pretty chippy out there.
Drafted by the Rangers in 2024, you got another chance to go to camp with them. You were one of the last guys sent back to the OHL. What was that whole experience like with them?
Yeah, I think it was great. I think it was a great learning opportunity. I think I come back with so much new knowledge to just bring back to my OHL team. And I think me staying there was a great learning experience, a great exposure for me. I got to learn so much from the older guys and talk to the older guys, just how to become a professional. And yeah, so I'm trying to bring that back here and kind of give it out to the young guys.
Second time through camp, was it an entirely different experience?
I think definitely you know a lot more what's going on. I think you're not in the dark about everything, and a lot less nerves. But it's yeah, it kind of changes every year. It's definitely some new faces, but a lot of the same old faces from the year before. So it's great.
When you come back to the OHL, does it take a little bit of an adjustment for the OHL style compared to the style of play at that level?
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't say a lot though. I think it's kind of a lot of the same things, but it's just a lot faster up there. So I think just trying to keep the momentum I have coming back from New York is big for me, and keeping that same speed, even though the speed is different here.
Is one of the main things you learn when you're at camp the habits off the ice and seeing the players who've been in the NHL and what they do?
Yes, definitely. I think that's one of the biggest things. Just your habits away from the rink is the difference between a lot of things. So yeah, I've definitely learned a ton about just being a professional at the rink, but definitely being a professional away from the rink is huge too.
Is there something that Nathan Aspinall does or doesn't do now that you've learned at that level?
I think just my food choices. I want to become more of a eat better foods. I think I could be more pro in that sense, but yeah, that's just something I've been kind of working on over the year.
Maybe one less cheat meal?
Yes, definitely.
All right, what's your cheat meal? Over the summer, you have that big cheat meal. What is it?
Yeah, I would say Five Guys burger. Oh yeah, loaded up. That's my cheat meal burger. Definitely, for sure.
What did it mean to you to be named the captain of the Flint Firebirds?
Oh, I think it meant so many things. Just kind of all hit me one day when I got to talk to my old captain, Connor Klanberg, the day of I got named captain. It was kind of a full circle moment, really. It's just, you come here at 16, you're young, you don't really know about the city or anything, you don't know any of the guys, and then you kind of grow as a person, and you kind of grow up here as an OHL player. You come in really young, and now I'm kind of a young adult here, so it meant so much to me, and it was a real big honor.
How have you grown up off the ice being part of that Flint community?
Yeah, I think it's just try to be a good person everywhere and just be a good person all the time. I think that's kind of what I've learned about being in the OHL. It's free to be a nice guy, and I think that's the biggest thing I've focused on over my 4 years.
Your old Markham Waxers team had some guys that have played in the OHL, like Owen Griffin and Frankie Morelli and some others. I'm sure it's always fun when you get a chance to cross paths in the OHL.
Oh, that's amazing. I think that Waxers team was together for so long, and we're still best friends now. It's just, I see them all the time when I'm back home, so it's great to play against them. It's really awesome to play against them. Definitely something we would have dreamed of when we were 14, but it's been great playing against them and just seeing them develop too.
Before I let you go, when I was doing a search, the first thing that came up wasn't hockey, but Nathan Aspinall, a darts player in England. Has that come up before?
It does. It does come up a lot, actually. People do ask me that a lot. It's we have the exact same name, so it's not great because he's a little more famous than me. But no, it's pretty cool. I've watched him on TV a couple times. Pretty cool.
Ever throw darts?
I have. I'm not great. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not great, but still working on it.
That was Nathan Aspinall, captain of the Flint Firebirds. 92 OHL players have been named as part of NHL Central Scouting's preliminary players to watch for the 2026 National Hockey League entry draft, including that 9 OHL players who are given A rankings, which means they are potential candidates to be chosen in the first round of the 26 NHL draft next summer. For the complete list, check out the Ontario Hockey League website at ontariohockeyleague.com. News out of the OHL this week as James Boyd, who's been around the OHL for more than 2 decades, has been named Vice President of Hockey Operations He will officially join the league office on Monday, November 17th. Boyd, most recently general manager of the Ottawa 67s, going back to the start of the 2017 season. Now Boyd joining the league office. He played in the OHL as well back in the mid-90s with the Kitchener Rangers, Ottawa 67s, and the Belleville Bulls. That's going to do it for our show this week. You've been listening to OHL News. I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us.
So it's 3-1 after 2 periods of play here at the TD Civic Center between the Colts and the Brantford Bulldogs. A little surprising just seeing how this game's all played out. The Barrie Colts opening with a 3-0 lead, and then Brantford on the power play after David Igorov made an insane save to keep it 3-0. Banak able to come down and make it a 3-1 score. As this one, it's not over yet. As we know how good this Bulldogs team can be.
Well, best team in the CHL right now, and for a reason. So if you're the Barrie Colts, you got to come out, you got to attack pretty quickly and try and add to this lead again. But coming into this game, I mean, you don't come in conceding that it's going to be a loss, but I think that after the game, if the Barrie Colts lost this game like 3-2 or 4-2 or something like that, I think was positives to take from that, especially if they go and beat Sarnia tomorrow and then Erie on Saturday. But now the Barrie Colts have an opportunity here with 20 minutes to go. If they can hold on to the lead here, and they'll be looking at 2 straight victories against top 10 CHL teams. And I think that would put you in a pretty good spot momentum-wise.
Yeah, so it's going to be fascinating to see how this game ends up. We even had a line brawl. We almost had the goalies meets at center ice. Igorov skated to center ice while Ben Harebic was in the pile. And they call it the Madhouse here in Brantford for a reason. And I guess this is a perfect example. So let's take a look quickly at the out-of-town scoreboard. 2 games earlier today. The Ottawa 67s winning in overtime by a score of 3-2. The game we were following, because the Sarnia Sting are in Barrie tomorrow night, the Owen Sound Attack, a 7-3 final over the Sting. It was 7-0 going into the third period. So that Sting team looking for a bounce back tomorrow in Barrie.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Sarnia had played some of their top opponents pretty tough over the last couple of weeks. You look back at rivalry weekend last weekend, and they split that series with Windsor and looked decent in the game that they lost. And on the other side of things, then they went and played this Brantford Bulldogs team. The Bulldogs won 3-1, but the shots were 39-23 for Sarnia. So they've handled some of these top teams pretty decently until today. They were without a couple players at U17s. Alessandro Diorio was also out of the lineup for that school day game against Owen Sound. But yeah, an ugly one today, and they'll definitely be looking to bounce back tomorrow.
Now, speaking of ugly, in Sudbury, it's 8-1 Sault Ste. Marie.
Does that say 7 goals in the second period?
7 goals by Sault Ste. Marie in the second period up at the Sudbury Community Arena. So things getting a little ugly up in the Nickel City.
That fan that was telling us about how we thought the Colts were going to come in and get an easy victory last weekend, he might not be happy right now.
Yeah, they were chirping us at the pizza place after the game.
They're chirping the Sioux radio after the game.
Oh, man. But anyways, we're about 5.5 minutes away from the start of the third period. We want to say thank you to everyone tuning in so far to the broadcast. We do have the live chat open. So if you want to join in the conversation, you're more than welcome to. And we're going to start with Liam, who says, let's go Colts and Jays. And of course, yeah, the Blue Jays playing Game 5 in the World Series. Thankfully, this game moved up to 6 o'clock. So when we're driving home to Barrie, we'll be able to catch some of that broadcast.
Yeah, it'll be... again, after
Aitchison on the ice. That is a great question, because for Owen Protz, he was given a roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. Because Aitchison was down on the ice in a wrestling match with Van Acker. Van Acker ripped off his helmet, and then Owen Protz just skating from the point. And you had 2 Bulldog players on top of Kayshawn Aitchison. So I'm not sure why he didn't get the third man in, but we saw the situation there in the third period where Owen Protz was at the doorway. He's not supposed to be on the ice, opens the door and starts yelling at the referee because there was more shenanigans on a play later on. So I'm not sure if maybe the league's going to look into that, but that is a solid question there, Brennan, because Owen Protz a little hot under the collar there in the second period.
Yeah, he was all around it. I mean, he came flying in. Like, he didn't waste any time. The second he saw Aitchison on top of Van Acker, he went right over there, gave Aitchison a run and took him down, and that created that whole line brawl. And then, like you mentioned, I noticed them beforehand, just kind of standing there, and I thought that was weird, but thought, okay, maybe that's allowed. But then saw him fly the door open, start yelling at the officials. That really surprised me. And then after that, I didn't mention this, but the player in the box was Lucas Moore, I believe, and Protz was looking over and he was pointing at him and giving him a thumbs up.
I missed that one.
After the interference penalty. So, yeah, Protz all over this game. And if he comes back in the third period, who knows what will happen.
And then, of course, Ryder Bolton not in the lineup anymore after 2 fights in the first period. Him and Luke Govro were ready to drop the gloves right off the hop at center ice, but they were kind of skating around the circle, and the linesman quickly got between them. But no surprise, those two dropped the mitts after coming off the ice a few minutes later. And then Bolton going after Kayshawn Aitchison right at the end of the first period. So Bolton's night also done, as this Bulldogs team, frustrated, is probably putting it lightly with how this game's been.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been very interesting to watch, and it felt like even early in the game, they were very frustrated, which was pretty weird to see. I mean, you go down 1-0 early in the game, a team like Brantford, they're going to be good. They're going to bounce back, as you may be able to hear the loud boos for the officials right now. But the Bulldogs just seeming very flustered tonight.
Yeah, and also, too, seeing Jay McKee, the head coach, he was standing on the ledge of the bench yelling at the officials as that line brawl was going on. And then as Evan Passmore was skating past the Brantford Bulldogs bench, it looked like the trainer was yelling at Passmore as Passmore was having a conversation with a few players on the Bulldogs bench. So everybody, it seemed like, was getting involved here.
Well, I can now officially explain all of it, because I just looked over in the corner there, and there's someone dressed up as Gritty, the Flyers mascot. And I think that just sums up this entire game so far.
Yeah, it's the Halloween game here in Brantford. And yeah, I think Gritty, as a Halloween costume, he wins if they are having a competition. But the players are coming out on the ice as we get ready for the period. Josh, thank you for filling in on the color. And we'll bring back Gene Pereira as we get ready for the third. It's a 3-1 hockey game here between the Colts and the Bulldogs, as we've had a little bit of everything in this hockey game, and it's not over yet. As the Bulldogs now making their way on the ice, we know that this is a competitive group, and we can expect that this team will probably be coming all out to try and bridge the gap as we get players back in the penalty box. Kayshawn Aitchison is back in the box now for the Barrie Colts. Owen Protz and Merrick Van Acker and Lucas Moore all in the penalty box for the Brantford Bulldogs. It's 5-on-5, as that was the penalties from the line brawl, I guess we can call it, there in the second period. As these two teams, this rivalry alive and well, Gene, and I think the fans in for a treat as we finish off this hockey game.
Well, the intensity is certainly ratcheting up in that second period. A late goal by Brantford. We'll see if that gets them going, but it's also a 3-1 lead heading into this third period.
And even seeing Calvin Crombie drop the gloves with a former teammate, a little surprising there too. He was a little shocked as he was coming back to the penalty box that his former teammate came after him.
Well, I guess no love lost, no matter your former teammates. Certainly, I mean, the intensity has just gone up. I don't know what you can see it kind of building in that first period, but the second period, the penalty box gate in prison.
So the two teams on the ice, the fans ready to go for this final 20 minutes, as we are in for an entertaining finish here between the Colts and the Bulldogs. As Brad Gardner gets ready to take the draw here at center ice for the Barrie Colts. And we do have several penalized players still in the box, but they'll rejoin the action as this period goes on. But this may be the best game we've seen of the Barrie Colts this season with just those two periods.
You know, the first 40 minutes, and I think it's almost like you got to say that they're going to have to be even better here in this third period to hang on.
So it's Gardner taking the draw here against Gallagher. Yeah, Crombie and McHugh mixing it up as the officials giving them some instructions here. And we are back underway. The Bulldogs get it off the faceoff as Revetsky will send that one deep. Emerton back behind his own net to play it. He takes a hard hit from the Bulldogs. That was Gallagher who delivered that hit. Testa after the loose puck in the corner. McHugh picks it up here for Brantford. Back to the blue line. There's the shot, Revetsky. But that's going to go wide of the net. Crombie trying to play it. He'll send this one down the ice. And that's going to be an icing call against Barrie. As this Bulldogs team coming out in force early on.
And you got to get it going. They get that late goal, that late power play goal to cut the Barrie lead to 2. That was a big goal for Brantford. The Colts, I mean, just really, try to keep it simple. Again, you don't want to get caught on too many of these icings, but most importantly, you don't want to give them any kind of odd man rushes and stay out of that penalty box.
Face off won by the Colts. Gardner has it in the corner for Barrie. He'll send this one up into center ice. Puck's bouncing. Angle back to play it in his own zone. Ahead for Dennis. Cooper Dennis enters the zone here for the Bulldogs. Passing that one across. Juracek to the nets, but that goes off a skate. Dennis gets the loose puck. Back to Juracek. Juracek winds up. Stopped by Harebic. Got a shoulder on it. And that's going to make contact with the netting. And we'll get a whistle here. Expect more of that, I think, from the Bulldogs here in this third period.
Juracek was banging his stick at the blue line and left out open just inside that blue line and ends up unleashing a rifle. And all of a sudden, all these draws become that much more important. These ones in the zone and possession. It's going to be huge in this third period.
Hanser gets this one out to center. Juracek knocks it down, and he's going to play it. They're going to call this a... Actually, I think they're going to call a penalty here on Juracek for closing his hand on the puck. Juracek was heading to the bench. He's confused.
Well, he generally looks surprised. I mean, you see it. And what an opportunity for the Colts here. They're going to get their 4th power play of the contest. Excuse me. No, that was 3rd. Already the power play goal here tonight.
And this power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. As Emil Hemming scored the power play goal in the second period for the Barrie Colts. As they move this one around, Hemming on the far side drops it back to Emerton. Back to Hemming. Hemming down low. That pass deflected as O'Donnell got a stick on it. Gardner back to Hemming. Hemming waits across. Bodwin shot, stopping rebound, and Gardner puts it over the net. Salandra giving that back to Hemming. Puck goes behind the Brantford net. Malhotra after it. Bulldogs trying to get this one out. Taken away by Gardner. That pass is deflected and ends up in the neutral zone. Emerton. He'll backtrack into his own zone. Power play down to 1:22. Emerton goes for a skate. Now he's going to drop it back to Hemming. Emil Hemming over to Bodwin. Cole Bodwin enters the attacking zone. Drops it to Salandra. Here's Emerton. Emerton rides the blue line, finds Hemming on the far side. Hemming down low to Salandra in front, trying to go to Bodwin, but that pass gets by him. Emerton down low to Bodwin, but fires that one back to the point, but no one there for the Colts. Power play now down to 52 seconds here for Barrie as Emerton's going to come out from behind his own net. Cole Emerton from his own blue line drops it back to Bodwin. That goes off a skate. Hemming has to come back for it. Emil Hemming finds Emerton. 35 seconds left in the penalty to Juracek. As Cole Emerton will set things up from behind his own net, leaving it there for Crombie. Calvin Crombie. He'll skate this one up, reaches center. Crombie enters the attacking zone, still with it by the defense, flips that one over the net as Crombie had a lane. Bulldogs trying to get it out. O'Brien was stopped. Here's Schneid. Schneid to the net, takes the shot, scores! William Schneid finds the back of the net. And that's going to be a power play goal, and the Colts are up 4-1.
Now, what a huge goal for the Barrie Colts. You give up that late goal in the second period to come right back here early in the third, a power play opportunity. You take advantage. Your second power play goal of the night. What a big goal. And what a play by Schneid, who I think everybody thought he was going to pass. He gloves it down here and watches an open man in front, the defenseman cheats over, and that allows Snide to walk in and just fire it over the glove hand. The goaltender, and what a big-time power play goal for the Barrie Colts here early in this third.
That's now 4 goals on the season for William Schneid, making it a 4-1 hockey game as the Colts continued where they left off. Acidorian sending it around the boards. Vader can't hold on to that loose puck. Vader gets it back behind the net. Here's Desiderio trying to wrap around. He falls. Puck's loose, and that's kicked to the corner. Bulldogs trying to get this one out. Hanser knocked it down at the blue line. Schneid sends to the far corner. Juracek after it here for the Bulldogs. Sends it around his own net. Protz flips that one ahead. That went off Holmes. Kept in. Desiderio skates into Juracek. Protz will take it back behind his own net. So all the penalized players from the second period, they're back in this hockey game. As Luca Testa skates through center ice. Testa hits the brakes, takes the shot. That's blocked by Passmore. Stewart after loose puck, kept in at the point. Moving that one forward. Is Dravetsky into the slots, and that shot goes over the net from Buckman. Holmes keeping that down low. Passmore after it here for the Colts. Getting in the way there was Tashurna. Tashurna picking it up, takes the shot. That's blocked. Puck comes to the near side. Colts can't get it out. Stewart gets to the loose puck, sends it ahead to Crombie. Crombie through the neutral zone, up to Bodie Stewart. Stewart will hit the brakes, looks back as the Colts are making a line change. Crombie tied up along the boards. Still with it, though. His pass blocked. Puck rolls to the net, and Igorov not taking any chances as he'll hold on for the faceoff.
Barrie Colts again, you come out, you got that power play opportunity to start the third, to give up that late goal and, take advantage. And that's what they did. And it's the second unit that comes out and delivers. Colts here, this is just been quite the performance and the build-up and the continuing. They played excellent against Kitchener on Saturday at home, and they've continued that here against a really good Brantford team.
What an effort here tonight from the Barrie Colts from start to finish. As it's a face-off to the left to Igorov. Scrambled draw. Bulldogs pick it up. Protz will flip this one down the ice. Benak trying to catch up to it. Benak, he stood up there by Passmore, sends it back. O'Brien couldn't get to it. Salandra had it for a moment. Puck's bouncing in front of Hrebeck. Side of the goal of Van Acker. In front, Hrebeck makes the save. As getting a piece of it there was O'Brien, but the Colts goaltender will hold on to it.
Oh, nice job by Rebecca. White jersey right on the doorstep, going to lean down and take control of that one. The Colts, you can't take the foot off the pedal here, and this Brantford team's going to push, and they're going to push hard. Most importantly, I know it's simple and you hear that, but just get pucks deep. It's the old cliche, Mike, and you hear it, but that's what it's all about for Barrie in this third. You got a 3-goal lead. Play it safe.
Well, that's what the cliches are all about. They work as the Bulldogs have it. Benak, though, had the puck roll on him. There's a shot from a bad angle as Hrebeck had his pad down. Paul Baudouin knocked over. He's slow to get up. Loose puck picked up by Protz. Gives it up to Van Acker. Van Acker on the far side, forced back to the blue line. Back to Benak. Benak from the half boards finds Van Acker. Merrick Van Acker, his shot blocked by Passmore. That one stung. Protz keeps it at the point. That's going to go around the boards. Aitchison chasing after it. Here's Benak. He gets to the loose puck. Ahead for Juracek. O'Brien with it now. Backhand pass to Protz. Owen Protz down low. Taken away by Aitchison. And the Colts defenseman sends it ahead. Emil Hemming along the boards. In a battle there with Van Acker. Puck goes back. Aitchison sets up Passmore. Tayshaun Aitchison gets it again. Up to Hemming. Chips that one off the boards. And that's going to go down the ice. Juracek trying to take advantage of the Colts line change. Benak at center. Gets by Vader. Still with it. Across to O'Brien. O'Brien on his backhand. Front. Puck's loose. It's underneath Vader. And Hrebeck able to get his mitt on it. As both Hrebeck and Vader had no idea where that puck was.
The Bulldogs can sense the desperation, and the puck thrown out in front somehow runs up the mitt a bit for Hrebeck. This is the push is going to come, and it's going to come heavy from this Brantford team.
So face-off coming to the left to Hrebeck. Newton will take the draw against Gallagher. Face off one by the Bulldogs. Vader trying to get through, can't get it out of the zone. Loose puck, Vader chips it ahead to Desiderio. Desiderio up to Schneid. Schneid lost the handle of it at center ice. Hanser's just going to dump it in. Off the end boards, Angle up to McHugh. Sam McHugh takes the hit. Puck will escape the zone. Jaden Newton comes up with it. Newton, backhand pass, finds Schneid. Schneid back to Newton in front. Erop kicked that one aside. Puck goes to the corner. McHugh. He's in a battle with Desiderio. Bulldogs with possession. Angle will skate this one out for Brantford. Reaches center. Tessa catching up to that loose puck, but Vader knocked it away. Puck goes behind the Barrie net. Hanser trying to play it. Puck comes to the near side. McHugh in a battle with Hanser. Continue to battle there. McHugh tied up by Hanser, and the Colts come away with it. Desiderio now on the far side at center ice. He'll continue that deep into the Brantford zone. As we're approaching the 7-minute mark of the third period, 4-1 Barrie. Angle will skate this one up, reaches center ice. Angle takes the shot on goal. Hrebeck with a glove save, and he's going to hold on to that. As it's a 4-1 hockey game here for the Barrie Colts. As this Bulldogs team trying to push, they've got 30 shots to Barrie's 21, but Colts doing a great job here tonight.
Again, for Dylan Smoskowitz and run your club, you want short shifts. You don't want to be caught out there on a long shift. And again, I mean, just keep it simple. Get it out to the center ice. Clog that center ice when they're coming back your way. And whatever you do, just work the clock as much as you can. And you got a 4-1 lead, and there's the opportunity. You don't have to take chances, especially in your own zone, obviously. And you don't want to give up odd man rushes, but again, just work the clock, get it into the Brantford zone as much as you can.
And also just to stay out of the penalty box here, but they've done well on the penalty kill. Only one power play goal against here tonight, but despite everything that happened there in that second period, the Colts doing a decent job staying out of the penalty box here tonight.
They have much better, and you see the improvement on the specialty teams for Barrie so far tonight here, and obviously you get a guy like Hemming back in the lineup, that's going to help. But it's credit. It's been a full lineup here that's shown up here tonight for Barrie.
Bulldogs get it off the draw. Malhotra's tied up. Emerton will get this one to the Colts bench. That's going to go out of play. So we'll do this face-off once more with 12:47 remaining here in the third period.
Eliason and Van Acker having some words, and Eliason's got to be careful, obviously. Van Acker trying to get him going, the big guy, and need him out there.
Face-off one by the Bulldogs. Here's Dennis. Dennis backtracking, takes the shot, stop, rebound, scores! Dennis puts that one into the blue paint. Looked like it may have gone off Malhotra. And the Bulldogs have made it a 4-2 hockey game.
I think that did hit Malhotra in front. When the Bulldogs pushing and pushing, when able to get control in the Barrie zone, and again, you send bodies to the front of the net. Shot there, and someone that hops over the left pad a bit. Hrebeck, quick snapper, and I think that was Malhotra that was able to shovel that one home, or went off him.
Well, the officials right now are having a conversation. It looks like they want to have this one looked at. The Barrie Colts bench also looking at it on the tablet. I don't think they've issued a challenge. But right now, the officials are going onto the tablet. They're going to review this one. I only thought, would they be looking at maybe goaltender interference, or was it kicked in? It clearly went off Malhotra, who is behind Ben Hrebeck.
Well, that's a couple of good questions, Mike.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the good question.
It could be either. And then the Bulldogs going to the front of the net. Big call coming up here. Still 12:40 remaining in this one.
Our referees tonight are Damian Figuera and Matt Manella. They're the ones on the tablet right now at the penalty box area just below the broadcast booth.
It's Cooper Dennis with the shot. Malhotra driving in front.
Well, they're having a long look at this. We've only seen the one replay on the scoreboard. As we saw that Dennis just put the puck to the net and Malhotra in the crease. It went off of him. That's the one thing we know for sure, but is it goaltender interference is what we're wondering.
It appeared on the one, the kind of puck hopped over the pad of Arebic and then went off of Malhotra, but Malhotra was right on that goal line.
Yeah, they're still taking a look at it. Should have had a timer to see how long this review is going to be.
Once again, I want to make clear I'm happy someone else is.
Well, they also have the new video review system, so they are able to check it out from different angles. As they've got the overhead to look at with Malhotra being there in the crease. It's hard to say right now. This goal could go either way. As Dennis was just putting the puck on net. Yeah, they're still taking a look at it. We may be here a while, and I think everyone wants to watch the Blue Jays game. It'd be nice if they could hurry up.
What happened to minor hockey with a running clock, you know?
Just let the clock run. 12:40, let's go. And they're saying it's a good goal. As we get the review, it's a 4-2 hockey game. So it's going to be Malhotra being given credit the goal, I do believe. But more importantly, the Bulldogs, they're within 2. So for Caleb Malhotra, that's now 6 goals on the season, unless it's Cooper Dennis's goal. But I do believe it went off Malhotra in the crease.
No, I think they credit Malhotra with the goal. And Dennis is just going to wrist it from the low face-off circle, and it sneaks up over the pad of Arebic, and I think it went off Malhotra. Did he shovel it in after? I didn't quite see if he made contact with the puck, but it definitely hit him.
So the Barrie Colts holding on to a 2-goal lead as we're approaching the midway point of the third period. Newton right now tied up with Adam Banach. As that puck's going down the ice, it's going to be an icing call. The feistiness continues here at the TD Civic Center.
I think for Dylan Smoskis' coaching staff, again, you want to settle the team down. Obviously, the Bulldogs get a goal. They cut the lead in half. It's a 2-goal lead now for Barrie. 12:32 remaining. Still plenty of time. And you don't want to let the Bulldogs run away with the momentum here.
So face off to the right of Igorov, won by the Colts. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison. The Bodwin one-timer. That's blocked. And the Bulldogs get this one out to center. Passmore is going to dump it right back into the Brantford zone. Picking that one up. Trevecki will send it to the near side. Bulldogs get it out down the ice. And that's going to be another icing call against Brantford. So the clock slowly fading away here for Brantford.
Oh, good job by Barrie. You want that next shift to be a good one. I mean, you don't want to let that momentum build and get the crowd back into it.
Face off won by the Colts. Newton spinning. Puck's kicked away there by Bodwin. Near side, Bodwin back to Aitchison. Sending it down low. Bodwin can't handle that pass. O'Brien will get it out. Chasing after. Here's Van Acker. He's got a breakaway. Van Acker shuts. Merrick Van Acker finds the back of the net. And it's now 4-3.
What a huge turnaround in this one. The goal just torn apart. 2, Van Acker, the Blackhawks prospect, is going to walk in alone, and he's going to go right over the right pad of Arebic. kind of forcing Redick to open those pads a bit, and then he's going to go backwards over the right pad, short side. 2 goals just like that. The Bulldogs back in this one.
And we were saying that in the intermission, how this Brantford team, they can come back. They've got the weapons. So right now they've got that momentum, and Colts have to find a way to slow it down.
42 seconds apart.
Face-off won by the Bulldogs as it's in the Barrie zone. Puck sent back behind the net. Gallagher there for Brantford. Has it in the corner. Acidorian trying to get a stick on it. There's a shot stopped by Horevic as Testa was stopped point blank. Acidorian to Vader. Vader avoids the hit from Gallagher. Colts trying to get it out. That's center. Carrying this one through his hands are up ahead to Schneid. Schneid sends it behind the Brantford net. Protz sends it around. McHugh picking it up now for the Bulldogs. Gets this one through center across to Testa. Luca Testa hits the brakes to the net. Not able to get a stick on it was McHugh. Colts pick it up. It's Justin Hanser. Falls at the blue line. Puck ends up at the Bulldogs line. Hanser sends it across. Juracek knocks that one down inside the blue line. Ahead to Malhotra. 11 minutes still to go in this hockey game. Brantford has scored 2 unanswered here to get within 1 as that puck's going to go around. Dennis can't get a stick on it. Stewart to the line, not out. McHugh gives that one up. Picking it up is Dennis. Dennis has it taken away by Crombie, and the Colts forward moves it out to center. Crombie enters the attacking zone, goes to the far side, still with it, gets bumped off the puck. Juracek can't hold it. Crombie back to Eliasson. Near side, Aitchison. Kayshawn Aitchison to Eliasson. Eliasson with a shot. That goes to the net, and Igorov, despite the traffic in front, is able to get a glove on it.
And not a bad idea by Eliasson. Kind of look up. You've got some traffic in front. Throw it on the net. Randy Colts, they got to be careful here. The Bulldogs really want to kind of open it up and with that run and gun. Sure, you really need your veterans to kind of step up and calm things down here on the bench. And
Colts get the puck behind the Brantford net. Bulldogs send this one ahead through the neutral zone. That's Cooper Dennis. Dennis takes the shot, stopped by Horevic. As the Bulldogs just continue to fire pucks on net. Well, that's now 35 shots on goal.
The fire pucks going into the Barrie zone, and all these big draws, that important possession. Still 10-15, plenty of time remaining in this one.
We get the face-off now to the left of Horevic. Cole Beaudoin trying to send it back. Hemming inside his own blue line. He'll skate this one ahead. Hemming into the Brantford zone around the Bulldogs net. Hemming has the official in front of him. Gets it back to Passmore. He'll put it to an open corner. Salandra collects it now for the Colts. Dropping this behind the net to Cole Beaudoin. Beaudoin behind the net to Passmore. Went off his skate. Bulldogs trying to recover. They'll take it back behind their own net. That's Engel. Engel up the middle, trying to set up Van Acker on the breakaway, but that's knocked away by Evan Passmore. Pucks to the corner. O'Brien takes a bump there from Aitchison. Hemming back to pick it up for Barrie. Emil Hemming back behind his own net, trying to keep it away from Van Acker. Van Acker back to the line. Juracek just keeps it in. That shot off Passmore and wide to the net. Cole Beaudoin can't hold it. Kicked aside. Rebound. Puck's loose. And they post it in. Juracek comes off the points. And the Bulldogs have come back to tie it at 4.
What a play by Juracek. It came off the point, the trailer, that scramble in front, and Juracek comes off it and just knocks that loose puck in front into the net. And again, the Bulldogs pushing, going to get it to net. Revic, the first pad stop. The rebound, that loose puck, and a rev check. Again, the Colts unable to get that puck out of the zone. Juracek, the late trailer, just came in to shovel that one on the backhand into the net and tie the hockey game.
So Adam Juracek with his 4th goal of the season. And the Brantford Bulldogs, who are down 3-0 at one point in this hockey game, have come back and have tied this game at 4.
3 minutes and 18 seconds, and just like that, Bulldogs back on even ground.
Yeah, 3 unanswered as Testa gets it in the attacking zone. Stopped there by Vader, stays with it. Testa trying to tuck it around. Horebic on the post. They jam at it as Gallagher tried to get that through Ben Horebic, but he's able to hold on.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, this one's brought the crowd to life, and Bulldogs are certainly flying right now. Big adversity check for the Barrie Colts here. Some adversity, and see how they respond to this after giving up a 3-goal lead.
So the Colts trying to hold on here as this faceoff will come to the left of Horebic. Bodie Stewart in to take the draw against Gallagher. Gallagher is now going to be tossed out. So in steps Sam McHugh. Faceoff won by the Colts. Eliason puts this one off the glass out to center ice. Brad Gardner has it. Stopped there by Gallagher. They'll put it across. Angle up the wing to McHugh. McHugh sends it forward. Eliason had that taken away by Testa. Battle in the corner. Eliason trying to hold on to it here. McHugh and Testa around him. Puck's knocked free. McHugh in front. Taken away by Gardner. And the Colts get it down the ice. And that's going to be an icing call now against Barrie. Is all the momentum right now in favor of the Brantford Bulldogs.
Well, McHugh and Eliason jogging back and forth. McHugh heading to the bench had some harsh words for Eliason. Boy, has the intensity level gone way up on this one.
What a game it has been here tonight, as we've had a little bit of everything. Face-off won by the Colts. Emerton picks it up. He's going to send it ahead. Captain at the point. Juracek. A shot off the end boards. Eliason trying to play it. Taken away by Van Acker. He's run over. O'Donnell puts it in front. Juracek coming off the point. Trying to sneak behind Bodie Stewart. That doesn't work. Colts get it out to center. O'Donnell trying to play it. Gets it in the zone. Here's Malhotra. His shot stopped by Horebic. Puck goes to the corner. Malhotra gets it again. Gives it up to Dennis. Cooper Dennis. Off the point. Rides the blue line. His shot stopped by Horebic. Puck's loose. Rebound. And Horebic able to pounce on that loose puck. Yes. The Barrie Colts just trying to ride this one out.
Eliason and O'Donnell battling in front of the net. This place has gotten a lot louder. The Bulldogs are just buzzing right now.
Yeah, what a crowd tonight here at the TD Civic Center. They have been in it right from puck drop. They were a little nervous, I think, there at the second period, but it's been quite an impressive crowd here. So look at the faceoff now to the left of Horebic. Newton's going to be tossed out. So in steps Nicholas Desiderio. Faceoff won by the Bulldogs. At the point, Angle takes the shot. Horebic the save. Puck's loose. It bounces in the air. Van Acker with it. His shot stopped by Horebic. Colts trying to take it back the other way. It's Desiderio on the wing. Enters the zone. Takes the shot. Egorov makes the glove save. As he had Evan Passmore going to the net. Now he gets some more rough stuff after the whistle. It's Desiderio mixing it up with Bannock.
You know, Passmore racing up to make that an odd man rush and trying to get in that. Said a lot of pushing and shoving after each whistle here.
We got 7:47 left to go in this third period, tied at 4. Right now, the Bulldogs trying to make a late change, and the officials calling them out for it. So Drabesky has to come back on the ice as we get ready for this face-off to the right of David Egorov. Baudouin taking the draw against O'Brien. Face-off won by the Colts. Back at the point, Aitchison. His shot, that's blocked by O'Brien. O'Brien trying to skate it free. Baudouin knocked it out to center ice. Passmore dumps it in. Around the boards it goes. Baudouin after it. Knocks this one down. It's in the corner. That's going to come to the near side. Aitchison gives chase. Kayshawn Aitchison down low to Bodwin behind the Brantford net. Bodwin in the corner. Still with it. Comes back to the point. Cole Bodwin, high slot. Nearly lost it. Keeps that one in. Justin Hanser. Down low. Quick pass shot. Stopped there by Igorov. That was Kayshawn Aitchison with a chance at the side of the net. And now the Bulldogs get it out. Hanser sending this one deep as the Colts make a line change. Trevetsky, he'll set things up here for the Bulldogs as they'll make a change as well. Now down to 7 minutes left to go. 4-4. Skating this one ahead. That's Gallagher. He's going to dump it in. Around the boards it goes. Far side, Testa. Testa couldn't hold on to that. Goes back behind the net. Gallagher will find it. Crombie puts it off the glass and out. Protz sends it back in. Crombie's going to skate it out here for Barrie. Calvin Crombie stopped at the Bulldogs blue line. Gallagher ahead for Testa. He's stopped by Vader. Fans want a penalty. None coming. Justin Hanser back behind his own net. Hanser's going to skate this one forward up to Gardner. Gardner flips this one into the Brantford zone. Protz after it now for the Bulldogs. Back behind his own net. Facing pressure there from Crombie. He'll peel back. Protz still with it. Protz will send this one back as Juracek will take his time. As time fading away in this hockey game. Bulldogs move it up. Malhotra gets by Asadorian. Still with it from his knees. Rolls to the nets. And Horevic will cover it up. As Emerton knocked down there by Malhotra, but nothing more will come of that. As it's been a wild one here tonight, and we're still not done. We still have 6 minutes to go.
McHugh and Elias, and that battle continues. McHugh giving him a shot after the whistle. And pulled over there, almost lost it at the blue line. It could have been a race the other way, but a nice job to keep it in. And that led to an outstanding chance from behind the net to Aitchison. And I think the Bulldog player might have got a stick on it, and that might have been in the back of the net.
Well, this Bulldogs team so talented and so crafty. We've seen it all night. And when they've got that momentum going in their favor, it's hard to slow them down. And right now, the Barrie Colts being outshot 43-23. So a 20-shot difference between Brantford and Barrie here late in the third period.
This Bulldogs team, you know, they give up the early goal in the third, but just never out of it. And you can see them really ramp things up. And again, I mean, that roller coaster, you get one, and next thing you know, you're going downhill, and the ride's pretty good. And you add another one, then all of a sudden the crowd's right into it, the frenzy, and 3 goals in just over 3 minutes.
So face off to the right of Horevic, won by the Colts. Aitchison around his own net. Sends that one ahead. Salandra chips that one forward. Hemming gives chase. Hemming back behind the Brantford net. Tied up there by Protz. Picked up by Bodwin. Cole Bodwin sends it back behind the Brantford net. Chasing after it is Salandra. Juracek finds it. Ahead. Hanser knocks it down. Van Acker trying to take it away. Bulldogs move it up. Van Acker on the wing. Enters the Barrie zone. His pass is blocked by Aitchison. Salandra passing it back to Bodwin through the neutral zone. Ahead for Hemming. That was read by Juracek. Gets this one out. Bulldogs move it ahead. There's Benek trying to go to the net. Nice move, and he just couldn't get it around the pad of Horevic. Oh, my goodness. And then Hemming knocked over at center by Protz. Van Acker gets to the loose puck. Trying to carry it in. Poked away by Aitchison. O'Brien knocks it out of the air. Jake O'Brien over to Protz. Owen Protz with a shot. And Horevic with the glove save. There's been so many great chances by the Bulldogs, but Ben Horevic keeps this game tied at 4.
Oh, again, a big stop, and what a move by Bennett. Trying to tuck it around the right pad of Horevic, but just get out that toenail. That right skate by Horevic kicking out there to keep that one out. This game even.
Well, some outstanding saves at both ends. Both Horevic and Igorov have been outstanding here tonight. Yes, this has been a fun one to call here tonight at the TD Civic Center. As Brad Gardner is going to skate this one out. Crombie can't hold on to it. Taken away by Malhotra. Malhotra loses it. Colts with it. Eliason in front of his net. Dennis was right there. Puck's knocked down at center ice. O'Donnell over to Dennis. Dennis hits the brakes. They'll pass this one across, deflected by Gardner, and that's going to go onto the Bulldogs bench, and we'll get another faceoff.
And of course, that momentum clearly on the side of the Bulldogs right now. They're pressing. Well, just looking like they're hanging on right now.
Well, it was a 4-1 lead for the Barrie Colts at the start of this third period after they scored a goal from William Schneid. That was on the power play, and since then, Bulldogs scoring 3 unanswered to tie it at 4 here in this third period. Gardner chips it into the zone. It goes off angle, rolling to the net. Moore collects it. McHugh from the half boards in his own zone, passes it ahead. Here's Luca Testa. Testa with some speed gets by Eliasson, trying to go to the net. Eliasson will knock him down. Bit of a cross check there. Play continues. Testa back up. Over to Angle at the blue line. Angle with a shot through a crowd. Hrebeck makes the save. Emerton flips this one out to center ice. Puck's bouncing. Crombie trying to get to that loose puck. Rolls to the net. Lucas Moore will find it. Moore in his own zone. Gives that one back to his defenseman behind the net. Loose puck as Asadorian deflected the pass attempt, but Igorov able to get the mid on top of it.
Kind of heard the crowd just went quiet there for a split second. That almost turns into a miscue and a great chance for Barrie.
So we'll get this face-off now to the left of Igorov. Schneid taking the draw against Malhotra. Face-off, won by the Bulldogs. Protz flips this one ahead out to center ice. Vader trying to track it down. Instead, it's Dennis. Gets by him. Cooper Dennis goes around the net. Still with it. Dennis comes back to the blue line for the Bulldogs. Takes the shot. Stopped by Hrebeck. Rebound. Malhotra stopped by Hrebeck. Ben Hrebeck has had to stand tall as Caleb Malhotra had a fabulous opportunity.
You know, Cooper Dennis came flying down that right wing, went around the net, fired in net, and Malhotra jumps on the rebound in front. Hrebeck another big stop here. Pressure is on to the Barrie Colts. 3:40 remaining. Surprise here, that big line of Bowden, Cilantra, and Hemmings back out there.
Dylan Smoskowitz continues to go with that top line. Face-off won by the Bulldogs. O'Brien, quick pass. That shot's blocked. Side of the net. Hrebeck stops Bannock. Bannock puts it out in front, but it's deflected wide to the net. Fans want another penalty as O'Brien and Aitchison were mixing it up. Colts get it to Malinen out. Bannock backtracking, sends it back to Juracek. Juracek in his own zone, goes to Protz. Protz ahead for Van Acker. Van Acker on the wing. Beaudoin reaching for it. Trying to drop it back. It's taken by Hemming. Emil Hemming skates this one forward for the Colts. Avoids the hit from Protz, but Protz gets the loose puck. Owen Protz carrying it in for Brantford. From the corner, Protz. Around the boards it goes. O'Brien at the point. Keeps it in. Down to Van Acker. Vanek. Again here for Brantford. Keeps that one in play. Back at the point. Takes the shot. Deflected. O'Brien got a piece of it. And Hrebeck able to pounce on that loose puck. As Aitchison and Vanek kind of mixing it up. But some of those chances have been something else.
It's like the old stereo dial. You turn it, it's about 4 or 5, and all of a sudden it's cranked to 10 in the noise, and as well as the level of play went from about 5 or 6 to right up to 10.
Why not just take it up to 11? With the way this game's been. So we got 2:47 left to go in the third period. It's a 4-4 hockey game. Face-off won by the Colts. Emerton skates it out of his zone. Takes the hit from Testa. Testa losing it there to Bodie Stewart. Jerveski can't hold on to that one. Taken away by Gardner. Brad Gardner with a shot. Stopped by Igorov. Rebound as Stewart trying to get a stick on it there, but Igorov able to make the quick save.
Not a bad decision. Put it on net. Igorov not going to take any chances with 2:30 remaining. Face off in the Brantford zone, and The big one at that. If the Colts can get possession, give themselves an opportunity.
Well, the Barrie Colts right now being outshot in this third period, 23-6. So the Bulldogs have fired 50 shots at Ben Hrebeck. Well, the Bulldogs will get it out of their own zone right now. It's Sam McHugh at center ice. Dumps that towards the net. Kicked aside by Hrebeck. Emerson ahead. Gallagher was in the way. Puck's in the corner. Picked up by Aitchison. Aitchison flips this one ahead. Kept in by McHugh. Gallagher chasing after loose puck in the far corner. Emerson takes him into the boards. Gardner ahead. Crombie skates this one out for the Colts. Chips that one into the Brantford zone. Colts are making a line change, but Angle lost the handle of the puck in his own zone. Couldn't get that pass to go. And then Angle turns it over to Bodwin. His shot stopped by Igorov. Puck goes to the corner. Salandra can't keep that one in. Puck's at center. That's going to be sent deep into the Barrie zone. Gabriel Eliasson back behind his own net. Passing this one up to Bodwin. Cole Bodwin reaches center ice. He'll enter the attacking zone. Bodwin with a shot. Igorov the save. Puck goes behind the net. Picked up here by Jiricek. Jiricek up the middle. Turns it over to Salandra. Joe Salandra with a shot. And that's blocked in front. And that's going to go out of play. I've now seen that a couple of times where the Bulldogs put it right up the middle and the Colts nearly take advantage.
What an opportunity for Barrie there. This top line. There's the giveaway, and Bowden's quick snapper. He's trying to go top right corner, and Igorov does a good job of coming up to that top of that blue paint and get the blocker out. What a finish to this one here tonight.
If you're only tuning in now, you have missed so much here tonight. As this has been a wild one here between the Colts and the Bulldogs. Face-off won by Barrie. Emerton sends this one down low. Colts trying to move it around. Desiderio has it in the corner. Gardner can't get to it. Jiricek blocks him. Battle continues along the boards. Approaching the final minute of the third period. Owen Protz flips this one out to center ice. Puck's bouncing down the ice. That's going to go wide of the nets. And that's going to be icing against Brantford. So a big face-off in the final minute here, back in the Brantford zone.
58.1 seconds remaining. And Colts doing a nice job the last couple of minutes they've spent in the Brantford zone for the most part. Quick face-off coming in.
So it looks like the Brantford Bulldogs are calling a timeout here. So this will also give Dylan Smoskowitz a chance to drop the plan here with this faceoff coming to the right of David Igorov.
Well, Jen, I mean, it's going to rest the Barrie line as well, but hey, best on best here for these final 58 seconds of this third period. Make sure you can talk things over for the Bulldogs and make sure that everybody's aligned, everybody's got their man, and the Colts, Dylan Smoskowitz and the crew trying to draw something up here and find if you can get a puck on net, you get a body in front, and whether it's a deflection or pounce on a rebound.
Well, the Barrie Colts going with that top line. Cole Bodwin with Emil Hemming and Joe Salandra on the wing with Cole Emerton and Kayshawn Aitchison at the points. O'Brien taking the draw for the Bulldogs. It's a scrambled draw. Colts get to it. Salandra puts it back behind the Brantford net. Cole Bodwin from the corner. Passes this back to Aitchison. High slot. His shot deflected wide by Benek. Loose puck picked up by O'Brien. Up to Benek. Aitchison sends that one forward. Now it's going to be an icing call against the Colts as Aitchison's pass not able to connect.
Aitchison trying to hit Hemming there. And what a hockey game this has been tonight.
And remember, the Brantford Bulldogs looking to extend their streak of points in consecutive games. They're the last team in the OHL not to suffer a regulation loss. As there's a shot from the point, Hrebeck guides that to the corner. Van Acker keeping it back behind the Barrie net. Bodwin in a battle with O'Brien. Cole Bodwin up the middle. Here's Emil Hemming with a breakaway. Hemming to the net. He's hauled down. And we are going to get a penalty shot with 22.3 seconds remaining.
Wow.
We have seen everything tonight.
Holy moly. I don't think there's any doubt of that one as Hemming just got in and behind the defense there, and he is absolutely hauled down. The Protz grabs the right arm and hauls him down. And what a finish this would be. What a night in return this would be for Hemming.
So Hemming already 2 goals tonight in his return to the Barrie Colts lineup. Now gets a penalty shot with 22.3 seconds left in this game. This is unreal. The drama here, we're waiting for the thumbs up. And here we go. Emil Hemming on the penalty shot. The fans raining boos on Hemming. He's going to weave in on net. Forehand, backhand. What a save by Egorov. David Egorov denies Emil Hemming. And we are still tied at 4.
Oh, what a huge play. And Hemming looks like he's going to go backhand to the front and right back to the backhand. Look at that. Right pad by Egorov, just following him all the way through. He's not buying the shake and bake. And Hemming actually was a nice move. Tried to go backhand and slide it in, but what a big time stop.
Face off to the right of Egorov. Scrambled draw. The Bulldogs get it to the corner. Juracek just going to get this one out. That's bouncing down the length of the ice. Icing is waved off. Aitchison there to play it. Gives it back to Emerton. Emerton up ahead. Salandra kicks this one out to center ice. O'Brien's there. 5 seconds remaining. O'Brien peeling back. He's going to let the clock run out as the hockey game will continue. And for the Brantford Bulldogs, they're going to get a point at least tonight, so they remain undefeated in regulation after 14 games this season.
Well, now for the Barrie Colts, the stats, that streak don't matter. The important thing is to try to get the extra point. You had a 4-1 lead early in this third period. And the Bulldogs race back. Now the important part, the opportunity here to get that big extra point.
And this is now back-to-back games that the Barrie Colts have needed overtime. They won in overtime Saturday at home against the Kitchener Rangers. Cole Baudouin was the hero in that hockey game. So the Colts, they've been quite familiar with extra time. This is now 6 games this season that have had to be decided outside of regulation. 1-0 is the record in overtime and 1-3 in the shootout. Well, the Brantford Bulldogs, only twice before have they gone into overtime. 0-1 in overtime and 0-1 in the shootout.
So what a game here tonight. Then Emil Hemming already with 2 goals tonight. A penalty shot opportunity late. Took an outstanding stop by Egorov to keep that one out.
Well, with the way that third period was going, it seemed as though Brantford was going to get that go-ahead goal. But if it wasn't for Ben Hrebeck weathering that barrage of shots, Hrebeck now facing 50 tonight, we'd be looking at a whole different hockey game.
Well, Mike, not going to lie, the Hemming thing would have been a nice, easy story to write. He scored the penalty shot, but a hockey game here tonight.
So now we get some overtime, 3-on-3 hockey here in Brantford. The Colts deciding to go with Baudouin, Hemming, and Aitchison. And for the Bulldogs, O'Brien, Engel, and Juracek. This place is loud. So Baudouin versus O'Brien at the face-off dot to open the overtime period. And we're underway. Face-off won by the Colts. Kayshawn Aitchison's going to take this back into his own zone calmly. Comes out from behind the net. Aitchison drops it back to Baudouin. Or make that Hemming. Emil Hemming over to Cole Baudouin. Baudouin hits the brakes. Comes back to the line. Baudouin still with it. Cross paths with Aitchison. Drops it for Hemming. Emil Hemming from the far side. Still with it in front to Aitchison. His shot scores! Kayshawn Aitchison, the overtime hero, as the Barrie Colts come into Brantford and get the big 2 points.
What a setup by Hemming in front to Aitchison, and Barrie Colts give up 3 goals to get this one into overtime, but they find a way to pull out a huge win, their second straight. 2 top 10 CHL teams, including the #1 team tonight, and the Colts knock them off.
Well, when we were up in Sudbury and they lost that game to the Wolves, we were looking ahead to the schedule, and it was looking a little bleak, seeing Kitchener and Brantford on the horizon. But what a game here tonight. A full effort here. Things kind of got away from them in that third period where the Bulldogs scored 3 unanswered, but this team held on, and Kayshawn Aitchison, Mr. Clutch, gets the win in overtime.
Well, credit to the Colts' resilience tonight. The Bulldogs just really poured it on that third period. Yes, they managed to come back, get the 3 goals to force overtime, but for Barrie to come out that top line, which was big all night. And Emil Hemming, what a return to the lineup tonight. 2 goals and an assist on the game winner. I mean, just outstanding. Welcome back, Emil. No, never mind. Welcome back, Carter. That's welcome back, Emil. Just an outstanding effort tonight. And full credit to this Colts team, because it really would have been easy to fold, but they got some big stops from Arevic, found a way to pull this one out tonight.
Yeah, this game just incredible. From that first period, we saw Ryder Bolton sent off after 2 fights against Govro and Aitchison. That kind of set the tone with the physicality. And then the Colts, they were up 3-0. Brantford got back into the game, and that second period had the line brawl, the chaos there in the second. Colts up 4-1, and then Brantford coming back, forcing overtime. And then we had the penalty shot, no less.
What you're saying, Mike, there was everything.
We had everything tonight.
That it could happen in a hockey game, it seemed, tonight. And, again, I mean, this Bulldogs team, look, I mean, I think you got a good look at why this is the #1 team in the country right now rated. But, credit to the Colts. I mean, they came out with an outstanding effort, especially through 40 minutes. You give up that late goal in the second, you wonder, okay, how are they going to enter the third? I mean, it's been fragile. They've struggled just winning the last 7, 1 win in the last 7. But they get that early power play going, and you think, all right, things settle down. And then the Bulldogs just put the pedal to the gas, and they come right back. But full credit to Dylan Smosman's Hockey Club. They found a way to pull this one out. And what a big, big win to this Barrie Colts Hockey Club.
Now, the Brantford Bulldogs' unbeaten streak in regulation continues. So in 14 games, they've earned at least a point. But this Barrie Colts team, give them credit. They dug deep, and they found a way to survive that onslaught in the third period. They gave up 50 shots in this hockey game. Hrebeck really stealing the show late.
Yeah, like the old saying, going to take pinch punches and you go down. It's if you get back up. And that's what the Colts did. They took some heavy punches in that third period. And a couple of 3 really big blows, obviously. But, they found a way to get back up. And Bodwin and Hemming and Aitchison, I mean, their veterans get right back out there and get a big win.
So our 3 stars tonight, presented by Craighurst Crossing. Jake O'Brien with 3 assists. He is the 3rd star from the Brantford Bulldogs. Emil Hemming, 2 goals and an assist. He is your 2nd star. And the overtime hero, Kayshawn Aitchison, he is your 1st star. There's so many players who deserve credit here tonight. Both teams put on an absolute show here, and this is just the first of 4 meetings between these 2 teams.
Yeah, if they're going to be like that, the other 3, wow. I mean, no doubt. I mean, it was outstanding right from puck drop tonight, and the intensity just kept building and building through this hockey contest. And, again, look, I mean, these are 2 teams that had started in different directions, but, familiar foes in the Eastern Conference. And what a hockey game here tonight.
So the Barrie Colts back in action tomorrow. They're going to be at home to take on the Sarnia Sting. You can catch Gene and I on Rogers TV for that broadcast. Also, Saturday, the Erie Otters are in town. You can check that game out on Flow Hockey. And then back on the road, we're going to be going up to Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie next weekend. Both those games on the channel here, but we're going to head north again. We were just in Sudbury.
Hockey, and hey, why not, right?
Exactly.
Go up north and, we got to do that ladder again, which I'm not looking forward to.
But it's a final score here in Brantford. The Barrie Colts winning in overtime. What a game it was here tonight. We want to thank everyone for tuning in, and for our sponsors. For Gene Pereira, Josh McCann, I'm Mike Poirier saying so long. We'll talk to you guys again soon.